There it goes. All right, let's try this one again. Let's see. Pop out chat. Top chat. Live chat. Okay. I think we got it going this time. All right, chat room. Hopefully you guys will get the notification now. Ron.
I got it, yeah.
Ron, tell me you got sound, brother. Ty, the Heat Freak. Ty the Raider says we're all good. All right. I don't know what happened there on that one, man. That was weird.
That's
anyway,
all right.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Michelle Sweat. Thank you, Raider Rich. Thank you, Yo-Yo. Appreciate you, Big Easy. Appreciate all of you joining us in the chat tonight for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Got a lot of fun in here tonight. We got the Domenico's guys. We got the West Coast Domenico guy. We got the Southern Domenico guy in here. We're going to have a lot of fun in here in the fan cave tonight. And someone's sitting in Uncle Mosh's chair, so that always gets interesting, too. So anyways... Oh.
Sorry.
Who let the rookie in? No, I'm just kidding.
We're new to this thing.
That wasn't me, right?
No, that one wasn't you. You're good. All right, man. We're going to go ahead and kick off this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate y'all joining us here tonight in Murph's Fan Cave for episode number 183.
Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murph's Fan Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Koleknikov, a leaking pass, touchdown!
We miss you. Love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing, just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murph back once again for what we hope to be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 183 of Raiders Fan Radio, coming to you live from Murph's Fan Cave. I appreciate all of you joining us live on the YouTubes. That is youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave.
America, go to the YouTube right now.
That's right. Go to the YouTube and you could join into the best chat room there is in all of Raider Nation at youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. Chevy Silver Raider is in there. Edgar V, Daniel Mangus, Zach Brewer, Running Bear, DT the Sun, Michelle Sweat, Ty, Ta-da, Raider is in there. Rob Raider, The Big Easy, Running Bear. What's up, Running Bear? Kill Jadas is in there. Swag Jet. Who's that guy?
Swag.
Murph, Swag, Jeff, and who's the third guy?
Appreciate everybody joining us in the chat tonight, and appreciate all of you, Raider Nation. Going to be a lot of fun tonight here in Murph's Fan Cave for episode number 183. Man, this is going to be cool. All right, so normally the man that adorns the southern annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk is the one and only Uncle Mosh. Tonight we got a special guest. We got crowd favorite QB Jeff from Domenico's. What's up, Jeff?
What's going on, Murph? Appreciate you having me back in the cave. This is my third appearance, I believe.
This is your third appearance, and you know what happens when you're on Raiders Fan Radio 3 times, man.
Did I become a made man?
Yeah, absolutely. So and I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to hit you with this later, but we'll just do it right here at the top of the show. So, hold on. Let me hold on to that. Let me introduce our other guest, and then we'll come back to that. All right. Before we get to that, we've got a second guest tonight. The man is adorning the western annex of the southern annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk is Jeff's brother, Mike, from Domenico's in Alameda. What's up, Mike?
What's up, guys? You know, good to be on with you.
Good to have you here, man.
Yeah.
So this is your first time in the Fan Cave. This is how many visits now to Tennessee for you?
You know what? I lost count. I think at least probably a dozen. What do you think, Jeff? Like 12 to 15?
At least. I mean, you usually come out here 3 or 4 times a year on.
Let's call. I've been out here at least 20 times.
At least 20 times to watch Jeff's games and stuff and all that kind of stuff and all that.
Every Raider game against the Titans too.
Yeah. We went to 3 Raider games against the Titans. It's a great place. I love it here.
Right on, man. Good deal. Well, good to have you in tonight. Mike, like his brother Jeff, is a huge Raider fan, and so we're going to look forward to hearing from both of you tonight about a lot of the stuff about the Raiders. And Mike, you're still out there in Alameda. I'm still out there. You're still back there, so I really want to pick your brain and hear from you about life now as an abandoned Raider fan for the second time. So you know what I mean. So we're going to get into that.
You got it, man.
But okay, so Jeff, so we do made men, made women. So if you call the show and you leave a message and you get your message played 3 times, you become a made man or a made woman. Or if you email the show an indefinite amount of times, you become a made man or a made woman. Well, here you're the first guest to make a 3-time appearance. So like Kevin the Raider Nerd's been here a couple times. Aaron the Q-Dog Raider's been here a couple times. You know, we've had Will Compton. We've had a handful of different people come through to Fan Cave. But you're the first 3-time guest. So let's make it official, man. Let's make you a made man here at Raiders Fan Radio.
It's an honor.
You are a made man. You showed you are part of the family by participation. By chance, a man like yourself should make enemies, then they would become my enemies. Showing you are a friend of Raiders Fan Radio, you have leapt across the line. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It is more than the government. It's almost equal to family. Be loyal. Made man, Raider fan. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this as a gift. And don't ever forget, words can hurt more, but silence can break.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Appreciate it, man.
Awesome, man. The newest made men. So we got to add you to the list now of made men and women. And you know, we've got a long list now of folks that are made here in the Fan Cave, and we got another one to add tonight too, which is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
and so I've got the list here of the running total, and so we're going to get to that later on tonight when we announce one more. But appreciate all of you that each and every week support us here at Murph's Fan Cave. So how you been, man? So how's life? How's the deli business?
Deli business is booming. You know, people like sandwiches, so they're coming in, buying them up. Whether it's here in Murfreesboro or in Alameda, we're rocking and rolling. It's never been better, really.
Good deal, man. Good deal. So we know what a huge fan that this community is becoming of your food, and we know Mosh is a big fan of your food.
He is.
Now, but I gotta say, he's a fan of yours and all, but you are sitting in his chair.
I was a little nervous, you know, because I knew you told me where the setup was, and I was like, look, I've only sat in the guest chair, but now I'm in Mosh's chair. But, you know, I know how upset he was when Will Compton came in here and adjusted the levels and nearly broke the thing. So I felt like it was only appropriate to bring something for him to smooth it over. That way, when he comes back, he'll have a nice little present waiting for him.
Okay.
To you know, so he won't be mad
Buy
at me.
a little something. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got for Mosh.
So Mosh has a couple favorites at Domenico's, but one of his favorites is a Soprano, and on the Soprano is the Calabrese hot salami.
Nice.
So I figured we'd, I brought him a whole stick of the Molinari out of San Francisco, the Calabrese salami. So it's going to sit right here.
That's the good stuff right there.
Oh, it's the best. Molinari's the best. So when he comes
awesome.
back, he's got a whole hot salami. That thing will last him, for Mosh, probably a week.
Yeah. That's amazing, man.
So hopefully he doesn't get too mad at me.
No, he won't get mad at you. So, because you brought tribute, so we know that Mosh is going to be okay with it. Because here's the deal: if you start, you sit in Mosh's chair and you start playing with the settings, like you said, he tends to have a little bit of a negative response. So when the aforementioned Will Compton did it, this is what Mosh had to say.
Son of a 120-pound short mother from somewhere sat in the son of a bitch. He's probably just set at man's height, and his little legs probably couldn't touch the ground. What the hell? Stay the out of my chair. Sit in your damn bus.
That's That's
So
great.
that was the week after Will was in here, man. That was pretty fun. So anyways, I appreciate that. Appreciate you joining us tonight, and I'm sure he's gonna enjoy coming back to the fan cave desk, and there a big old salami sitting there, man. That's amazing. All right, so at the top of the show, we always kick it off by naming our episode number or tying our episode number back to something significant within Raider Nation. So this is episode number 183 of Raiders Fan Radio, and our buddy Swag Jeff is the one that finds something significant in Raider Nation to tie it back to. And let's check in with old Swaggo and see what he's got this week.
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Swaggy J with RFR Live coming to you for episode number 183. Now, before we get into the episode number, I do want to make an announcement that this week we will be dropping swag. That's right. You'll be able to go to the Raiders Fan Radio website and follow a link, and you will be able to buy all kinds of stuff. You want a Tales from the Nation shirt? You want a Murph's Fan Cave shirt? You want an Uncle Mosh shirt? You want a Swag Jeff sticker? It's all going to be there. It's all going to be there. More than just shirts. We've got all kinds of swag we're going to have available. So be on the lookout. Follow us on Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio, Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio, Facebook.com at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. You're gonna be one of the first to own all of the logos for the RFR live shows on the Murph's Fan Cave Network. Episode number 183. I got a good one. People applaud me for finding certain things, and sometimes the numbers can be hard. But I'm proud of this one because we got two for you. Got a question for you, Raider Nation. In 1987, do you know who the Raiders drafted as the 183rd pick? I bet I know one guy who knows. Bo knows. That's right. The LA Raiders with the 183rd pick in 1987 select Auburn running back Bo Jackson. And if you didn't like that, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but one of our favorites on the show, Speed Kills, number 21, Cliff Branch, played 183 games in silver and black.
Nice.
That's right, Raider Nation. That's the 183 stats for episode number 183. You guys have a great show, Domenico style.
All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Mosh, he twits now. That's right. Go to at Raiders Fan Radio. Also, don't forget the Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about our website? That's right, RaidersFanRadio.com. Heck, if you want to, you can even email us show at RaidersFanRadio.com or call us on the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Don't forget Merv's Fan Cave on the YouTube, where you can get all the show links like the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Find all our stuff on podcast providers like Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. All right, did I hit the time limit?
Good. All right, so before we get into the respect segment, which is kind of where we usually start at the top of the show, I want to get get a chance to talk to our newest guest here in the Fan Cave, to Mike from West Coast Domenicos, from the OG Domenicos in Alameda, right?
The original.
So, the original. So, Mike, we know you're a big Raider fan. Obviously, your whole family's big Raider fans. You got endless amounts of stories about being Raider fans, and you got one really good one we're going to get to in a second.
Sure.
But before that, talk to me a little bit about, because, Jeff, you've been out here for how many years now?
10 years.
10 years. I've been here for 20 years. It's been, actually almost 21 years now.
Okay.
Been a long time since I lived in the Bay Area, a long time since I lived in San Jose. And so many of our listeners are, well, frankly, we're global. We're all over the place. But we have a lot of folks in Texas and, New Jersey. And
that's why it's Raider Nation.
That's why it's Raider Nation, right? But give us a little bit of an insight on what it's like for Raider fan, where you're, how far are you from the Coliseum? 10 minutes?
Oh, 10 minutes.
There you go. So talk to us a little bit about what life is like for the Raider fans out there now.
I mean, that they left?
Yeah, just kind of like what it's like, man.
I don't know. I mean, I think some people are upset that they left. I'm more so, I saw this coming for a while. You know, they were trying to get a stadium for the longest time. I'm sad they left, but Las Vegas is fun. You know, you know, you got to move on. You got to move on. You know, there's some OG Raider fans that come in and, you know, they're hurt. They're like, I think a lot of people were done with them after they went to LA the first time. So you got those kind of fans, right? But you know, you just got to move on. It's gonna be fun. You know, I'm looking forward to it. There's still some Raider gear. I still see Raider gear, and you know, a couple of people. Like I got my Vegas. I went out there 4th of July. Went and visited a friend of mine, and got a couple hats, and I saw the stadium, and you know, a couple of people. They see my hat, they look at me like, "How could you wear that hat, man?" And they look heartbroken, you know. But you know, I'm a Raider fan. It's just you know, the silver and black. I'm always going to be with the Raiders.
I mean, who else are you going to support? The Niners?
That's what I say.
That's the thing, right? Like, what else are you going to do, man?
I tell people I'm not going to be no Niner fan, you know, so.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, it's funny you brought that up, though, too, about how, like, a lot of the OG Raider fans, like, I know, like you're, the older guys in your family, and, like, and in mine, too, like, my uncles and stuff, like, they weren't okay with it when the Raiders went to L.A. Now, I know we have a huge, speaking of being global, like, we have a huge contingency of listeners in Los Angeles. When you just mentioned Bo Jackson a minute ago, the chat lit up with all the folks that are big L.A. Raider fans. So, a lot of respect for L.A. Raider fan, but, like, that's a rivalry for us. Like, when the Raiders went to Los Angeles, like, when I was a kid and they left, it was like, well, we hate the Dodgers, we hate the Lakers, we hate, like, so now they're going to the city where all these teams that we can't stand play at. Like, what the heck, you know? So that was like a big deal, and it's interesting you mentioned that like, those still linger.
Absolutely. People are hurt, you know? I mean, you know, I don't know. You know, then I see people too. Like I saw one older guy, and he was like, "Oh man, I like that hat. I got to get one for myself." And you know, it's just weird. It's weird, you know.
Did you ever feel like, because you were there ground zero, did you ever feel like the Raiders were going to stay?
Honestly, not really. I mean, if you've been to Oakland lately, I mean, and then you go to see their beautiful new stadium in Vegas, it's like, it makes sense.
It makes sense, right?
You know what I mean?
If you're an NFL franchise, especially nowadays, you have to have new facilities, new stadium. Like, you're not attracting any, the Coliseum was a dump. It was our dump. Don't get me wrong. I loved going there, and I have so many memories tailgating and, you know, the stadium and all of it. But if you're trying to build a franchise, like, free agents, they don't want to come there in those locker rooms. Like, you're the last stadium to still be playing on a baseball field. Like, come on,
literally sewage running through the dugouts.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it was ours. And don't get me wrong, I loved every minute of it. But you know, I'm okay with it. I was hurt in the beginning too, but we got to move on.
You got to move on. You got to move on, man. You know.
Well, and you know, and when you consider the alternatives, like, you know, and there was a lot of different places that were thrown out there for a minute. There, it seemed like every city.
It was like San Antonio,
Birmingham, and like all kinds of people were. But like, if you had to pick a place, like
the Raiders are the perfect team for Las Vegas. Perfect.
Right? Yeah. Like that's it. Like, you know, you would think that like, if the NFL really wanted to do the fan base as solid, they would have went with LA, because that's where a Raider fan is. Like, LA's a Raider city. But considering the fact that they didn't, like, what else? Like, Vegas, man. Like, what? It's perfect.
That's the only other place, I think.
If it's not going to be in the Bay Area, I'd rather it be, frankly, and this might offend some LA Raider fans, I'd rather it be in Vegas than LA.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would.
But I'm old enough. I'm old enough to think that, though. So don't kill me, chat room. But I'm almost 50-year-old man in a couple of years. I've been around for a long time. I remember as a kid when they left and how much that hurt our feelings, man. That wasn't like you know what I mean? That was, so anyway, and again, and we have so many great Raider fans in LA, and we hear from Beto.
It's a touchy subject back home. You know what I mean?
It's
a touchy subject with a lot of people, but you know, it's gonna be fun. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot of. I'm excited. I went out there and saw it for myself. The wheels started spinning. I'm thinking, shake some craps, pool party, Raider game, dude. You know.
Well, I love it, and like when a lot.
It won't be the same, but it's gonna be, you know.
Well, like Jeff, you mentioned how amazing the tailgates are, right? Like there was no match of an Oakland tailgate, and it was. But I do remember though, as much as I'm fond of those tailgates, when a lot of fans were like, "Well, what's going to happen when we go to Vegas? Where are we going to tailgate?" I'm like, Caesars.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be in the parking lot. You're going to be at the freaking Palms. Exactly. Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Vegas, for crying out loud.
Not a bad plan B.
Not a bad plan B. Jump in an Uber and go to the game, man. Like, come on, man.
It's only an hour flight too. You know,
from where you're at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's closer for us here in Tennessee to get to Vegas.
Yeah, it is. I know. Well, because I just went out there for the home opener against the Saints.
Where did you go? Where did you watch the game out there?
Stage Door Casino, which was amazing, by the way.
It was packed. It looked packed.
I gotta get
Yeah,
out.
it was
I gotta
probably a
get
little
out there.
more packed than it should have been.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, considering that we're in a global pandemic, but yes, it was a lot of fun.
It's hard to keep Raider fans away.
I'm telling you, you start getting the Modelo flowing, and
no doubt.
people start losing their masks. I'll just say that. You know what I mean?
Quickly.
But yes. But hey, so also in the chat room, we appreciate any of the donations that we get in there tonight through the super chat. All that money is going to go to the One Nation Foundation. First one is in there from Swag. Actually, we got two in there from Swag Jeff.
There you go, Swaggy.
Appreciate you, Swag Jeff, in there. A couple $5 donations, and that's going to go straight to the One Nation Foundation. You can also go to onenationfoundation.net and donate there directly, and all that money goes 100% to various Raider causes, including this last week we just completed our donation to Allison King, Kenny King Jr.'s mom, and her recent or renewed cancer battle, and we sent on $1,800 on behalf of you, RFR listeners, but most importantly the One Nation Foundation as a collective. So thank you for those of you that supported that, and much respect to you. So, and speaking of respect, let's go ahead and hit this top segment here in the show. So, we like to give respect at the top of the show. We don't do props. We don't do shout-outs, but we're Italians. We might be Irish Italians, but we're still Italians.
That's right.
And so we like to give a little bit of respect. Hey, by the way, you got 3 Murphys in the studio tonight, too. This is like Murphy's fan cave tonight, right? Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Absolutely. So, and thank you both for being here, too,
by the way.
man.
Appreciate
This is great.
you having us.
Absolutely. So, all right. So at the top of the show, we like to give a little bit of respect. And let me just say this, and this is not a political thing. We don't do politics around here. I don't want you to be political in the chat room either. But I just remember this: we're in a crazy time of night. It's over Mike's shoulder here. We got the election going on, the stats going on, just so we can kind of keep up to speed with it. It's a wild time for our country.
Wild,
right?
yes.
It's an absolute wild time. It's going to continue to be wild over the next couple of days. And just remember, Raider Nation, that Raider Nation is only second to this nation. And no offense to our UK listeners and all the global listeners, but this is the greatest nation, the greatest democracy that's ever existed. And just let the process play out. Be nice to each other. It's all going to be fine. There's no single politician that's ever changed our world before. It's not going to happen this time. Just everybody chill out and just enjoy the process and just relax in it. And that would be what I would encourage you to do. And now that said, I said we weren't going to get political, but there is a little bit of internal politics that go on here in the fan cave once in a while. Did you guys know this?
No.
All right. So you ever seen these political hit pieces that kind of go on?
Oh, yeah.
On TV sometimes, where like attacking a senator and things like that? Well, one of our guests or one of our hosts here in the fan cave is not above that. And here's something. Yeah. So check this out, guys. Donuts. Dozens and dozens of donuts. Reubens by the tens. Excessive quantities of food consumed in the southern annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk? Is Uncle Mosh still fit for the southern annex of the Fan Cave desk? All that food, 0 taxes paid. Plus, Uncle Mosh voted against the funding for the western annex because it was all about his airtime. Unchecked. Unhinged. Always full. It might be time to promote a successor to the Southern Annex. Raider Nation, you decide.
I'm Swag Jeff, and I approve this message.
Oh, man. Shots fired.
What's up, everyone? This is Maurice Hurst with the Las Vegas Raiders, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with Murph, Mosh, and Swag Jeff. Just win, baby. Thanks.
All right, Raider Nation, let's jump into some Raider talk. I want to talk a little bit about the Browns game. We'll talk a little bit about the outlook to the Chargers, but that's a little bit of a tease because before we do that, though, I do want to jump back and go into a story that I think your brother's got to tell. Mike, tell us a little bit, and I won't even want to set it up. You just kind of pick it up and run with it. Tell us about this amazing story that you have that has to do with the Raiders.
Yeah, so I guess it happened, about maybe 2 years ago. It was around Mother's Day. We get a call because, being we did a lot of catering for the Raiders. The facility was like 20 minutes away, so we had major contacts there. So I was always running platters over there and whatnot. And out of the blue, one of the ladies I would do orders for sends me a text. She said, "Hey, I can't tell you what's going on exactly, but it's Mother's Day and we're doing some promotions with Tide. So we thought of your mom. So they were picking I think they went to 3 or 4 ladies, for Mother's Day. So I told my mom, and I was like, well, what do you think about this? They have, and they said a Raider personality is going to come to her house.
Okay.
Right? We came out to find they were doing a promotion with Tide, laundry detergent.
Yeah.
Right? So, I told her, and she said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And she said, a Raider personality is going to come, and at this time, and she needs to be at home, and they're just going to show up. So, at first I didn't know if my mom was going to want to do that, but she said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So, I'm thinking they might send us like a backup tight end or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, I said, and this Gruden had just gotten hired a couple weeks before. I said, wouldn't that be wild if they sent John Gruden? And we were like, no way, right? So my mom was home, she's waiting for the call, and her name was Zoe. I said, shoot me a text when you guys are on the way over, because my mom wanted me to be there too. She's like, all these weird people coming into her house. She's like, come over too. That way, So I was like, yeah, of course, no problem. So I get the text, I shoot over from the deli to my mom's house, like 10 minutes away. I pull up, and I see like those big Mercedes vans, the tall ones, the big black ones?
Yeah.
I see one of those with a huge Raider shield on it. And in the driveway is like a Lincoln Navigator, all like tinted out. And I was like, man, that looks like a Secret Service car or something. It was sharp. I was like, somebody's here. Is it Derek Carr? I'll be like, maybe something,
Yeah.
So I walk up to the front door. I'm a little nervous, kind of like right now. It's my first podcast.
No, you're doing great, man.
Yeah.
Doing
So
great.
I walk in and I see Zoe. And she's like, come in. So I walk in there. I look around the corner.
And this is inside your childhood home, right?
My childhood home. We all grew up there. All five of us Murphys. I look in there. John Gruden is sitting down at my kitchen table.
Incredible.
So I walk in. I'm like pretty nervous, and he goes, "Hey, Mike." He already knew my name, and the guy's sharp. Like the guy can retain information. Like he'd been talking to my mom for 10 minutes, and he already knew my name. He knew about Jeff. Maybe he saw the pictures on the wall. And he was so cool, so personable. And my mom, she was like, just not even phased. It was just like somebody that came in the deli. She's just talking to him like, she was kind of, okay. So I walk in and he gets up. He goes, "Hey, how you doing, man? My name's John Gruden." I'm like, "Mr. Gruden, of course. And call me John, Yeah. So we start talking. He goes, "Why don't you have a seat right over here?" And another thing too, like the whole crew, he had just gotten hired. So everybody was so like excited to see him. I mean, he's a celebrity, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just doing Monday Night Football, Corona commercials, and I mean, everybody was just excited. The whole camera crew and like Zoe, she was
took
like,
over the room, right?
Guy's a leader of men. When he speaks, it's like everybody's like, "You go over here." He was like telling,
he's like directing traffic and stuff.
He was directing traffic because they were there to film him. He was like doing my mom's laundry and stuff. Yeah, the links, it's out there somewhere. It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. So
it was like her clothes and it was like the house line.
Yeah. And then she's got like her feet kicked up, and So he went to like 3 or 4 houses. So they showed him at all these houses. So then he goes, "Why don't you have a seat over there?" So I sit down.
He's sitting in your own house. Yeah. Why don't you go sit over there? Okay.
You know me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Like So I sit down. We're sitting at the kitchen table, and we just start talking about football. And I said, "Can I ask you a question?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And I'm like, "Man, you got the Monday night. Why are you doing this, man? Like, why are you coming back?" And he goes, looked at me like dead in the eyes. He goes, "I tell you what." He goes, "Because it's in my heart." He goes, "I feel like this is the right thing to do." He goes, "It's what I want to do." He goes, "My kids are just graduating from high school." And he goes, "I just feel like it's the right time for me to get back in, And
wow,
we just started talking about players. And then, he had found
Did you ask him when he was going to sign Khalil Mack?
No, I did not. So then we start talking about Jeff a little bit. And he goes, "Oh, yes, your brother played at Middle Tennessee." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I tell you what, man." He goes, "Back in 1998, he goes, I was out there scouting a player called Kelly Holcomb."
Wow, no kidding.
He remembered
Kelly coached my kid and goes to the same church as we do.
Yeah. He goes from 20 years. This guy's like an encyclopedia. Like he remembered exactly this little school, and he was there at this particular year.
Sharp.
And it was great. We talked. He was supposed to stay for 15 minutes. I think he stayed for like about 45 minutes. And you could tell he was excited. He was just on the job. He got hired like 2 weeks before. He was like fired. You could tell he was like the juice.
So cool, man.
He was ready, and it was off season. So it was in May. It was Mother's Day. It's in May, right? So around there. May, June.
It's May.
Yeah, I think so.
May. So
yeah, because he got hired in like February.
Yeah.
It was something like that. It was right after the season got over. He got hired. So it would have been, within a couple of months of him.
And so I got him for, he was just, and we were talking about players, and he was talking about Derek Carr. He was how much he loves Derek Carr. And we just talked. And then, the crew's like, all right, John, trying to get him out of there, right? So, they're filming, and like I said, you see the video, it's great. My mom's just got her feet kicked up, and he's got like a laundry basket, and it was a great.
We'll find a link to that. Yeah. We'll get in our show notes,
absolutely.
man.
My mom absolutely crushed it. Like she was just didn't even flinch. Like it was amazing. And then so we end up talking, and the crew's like trying to rush him out of there because they got to go to the next place. So they're all going. He lets them walk by. He like slams the door behind him. He sits there and talks to us for like another 5 minutes. He started talking to me about some receiver they got in the 7th round that he really liked. I think it was Marcel Aitman.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like Aitman. Yeah.
And he was talking. No, he was just that guy loves football.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
It was, and when he got hired, because I had met some people at the facility when I would drop things off. Like I saw Khalil Mack one time. That guy's huge, man. His neck is just. Like I was just like, man, that's just bad boy right there.
Yeah.
But I just had a feeling. I was like, I think I'm going to run into Gruden at some point. I was like, I don't know if he's going to come in here because we've had a few players come in. Like Darren McFadden came in one time, others as well. Like Keelan Doss grew up. He
went to
from your guys' place.
He grew up like 2 blocks away, and so I saw him on Hard Knocks, right? And then like when I saw him on Hard Knocks, I said, I think that guy comes in the Deli, right? And then like a week later, he comes walking in. I'm like, dude, Hard Knocks. He's a nice kid. He's from Alameda, man. Like he went to Alameda High School. Then he went to UC Davis. I know his mom comes in. Like, so it's just funny. It's like when you have the Deli, it's like a place, and we have all the stuff on the wall. It like brings people together, like how we met you in Jeff's Deli.
Yeah,
the same thing. So it's like it's weird. We've always had this weird connection to the it just happened, and. Man, it was an amazing experience meeting Gruden. I was like, I was blown away. I was like, that was incredible. Like that guy's a star,
That's awesome. Man.
He's very enigmatic. I've never been in a room with somebody like that. He had like a lot of charisma.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean? How about, and so follow that up, Jeff, because you guys talk a lot about Alameda. And last time we had you in was like at the beginning of Last Chance U, talking about Laney College.
Yeah.
They're in Oakland, which is also where you played before you came to MTSU.
Yeah,
and speaking of coaches and like and enigmatic and just like big personalities and charisma, like your coach at Laney was John Beam. And we got to see that. I wasn't aware.
I haven't seen the show, the last chance.
Oh, it's incredible. So now I've seen the whole season, and I assume a lot of you have. Did you get a chance to watch it all? I assume
I did, absolutely.
So what did you think? Was it
that's John? That's Beam to a T to the letter. That is him. Like he coaches you hard, but that guy did so much for me, like in my life. Not necessarily like on the field, but just like when I went to Laney, it was right after my dad passed away when I graduated my senior year. So like. There was a lot going on there. I was 17. My dad just passed away. I'm graduating high school, not really know what my next step is. And like Beam filled such a big role for me, showing me really how to be a man. And I'll never forget that in my entire life. Like he did so much for me. And he's a great coach. He's a great leader. But he's also like, he's not, I'm trying to say this the right way. Like he will tell you exactly what he thinks, whether you want to hear it or not.
Right, yeah.
And some kids can take that and some kids can't. And you kind of saw that with different guys on the show. Like some kids, I can't remember the kid's name, but he was a receiver. Like the kid would shut down.
Yes. Yeah, I don't remember his name either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But then other guys, it's like they step up to the challenge. So, but that's the way he's always coached when he was at Skyline High in Oakland for years. And then when he went to Laney, like that's him. And you're going to get that.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. That's him. But I love Beam, and I thought the show was awesome, and it showed they had a rough year. They lost tons of guys, and that's how the JUCO system is. You'll have a really good team, and you might win state, but you only got guys for 2 years. So odds are is that next year it's going to be a little rough. You'll have a lot of guys that didn't play a lot, and that's why they ended up I think having like a 500 season that year. But
I've noticed that in watching the show that you don't really get us like when you're watching the show and you hear like the track record of like some of these coaches. I forget the last name, but Buddy was he in East Mississippi?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
You get the sense that like there's a dynasty that's kind of brewing, but it's really not. Like it's really like you can have like you don't get runs. Like you might in other sports because, like you said, it's so transient. Players are coming and going so much, right?
The California JUCO system is way different than like other than California. There's a limited amount of junior colleges everywhere else in the country. So like
That's true.
The school in Mississippi, and there's another one I think in Jersey or something. That's always really good. But like they have dorms, like they get kids in and they put them up.
Oh, okay.
Like all the schools in California are not like that. Like
right, because that's what the whole thing. Like they were showing players sleeping in their cars and stuff.
And that's how it was. Like I couldn't tell you how many times you'd be in the locker room, dude. Guys got pistols, guys got drugs, like.
It's Oakland, man.
I mean, whether you want to be honest about it or not, like that's Oakland. Like these kids were trying to make a better life for themselves, but they were also trying to make money, like
to survive.
Exactly, because they didn't have places to sleep. Like
absolutely,
a lot of guys didn't want to. I mean, like the one guy worked at the chicken place.
Yeah,
like, a lot
the
of guys,
zone or whatever.
Yeah, but a lot of guys they didn't want to do that. You know, that's just reality. That's just life. You know what I'm saying? And it's a different situation. You know, but Beam has helped a lot of guys, man. That guy's an incredible human being.
Well, that show is fascinating, I think that was my.
Watch it. I can't believe I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's great, and it's and out of all the seasons, that might have been the most fascinating of them. Not only just because it was especially after getting to meet you and knowing you played there and stuff, but just having those ties back to the Bay Area and all that.
Absolutely.
But really, you know, during the time when the Raiders are leaving Oakland and the Warriors are leaving Oakland and the A's are just a matter of time before probably they leave too. But like, there's so many things that are leaving the city, at least sports wise, that are synonymous. And yet here's this institution in this junior college that's staying there, and you have a stalwart like Coach there. Like it was really cool. I really enjoyed that, and I love how it profiled not only just his impact as a coach, but on these young men. I thought that was and it's so cool to hear you echo that same exact sentiment, man. That's awesome. It's on Netflix. So those of you that are on those of you asking in the chat room, let me shout them out. Daniel Mangus is in there, Coach Davis, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Big Easy, Raider Born Rico, Tyrone Graves, Pirate 1975, Alfred Esparza, Ron the Maid Raider, Raider Flash, lots of folks in there, Adam Hill. Appreciate all of you joining us, and thank you for the donations tonight. As we were talking there, had another one from Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, thank you, and also Franklin in there. Thank you so much. 100% of that money is going to go to the One Nation Foundation. All right, let's go ahead and let's hit a break here, and then let's jump into some talk about the last game and the next game coming up.
Hey, Raider Nation, I just want to say hello. This is Pastor Mondo of NationMinistries.net. You're listening to Raider Fan Radio with Uncle Mosh and my brother, Murph. Just win, baby.
All right, so the Raiders are 4-3, QB Jeff.
That's right.
Oh, man, it's an awesome time. You know, this has been one of the more exciting seasons that we've had in a hot minute.
Absolutely.
You know, considering that, you know, and we were due, like it was time, right?
Yeah.
After, you know, John Gruden's return here. It had been a minute since the Raiders had been competitive year in, year out. The last time was when he was here, I say we're here, but, you know, with the Raiders in the early 2000s. Other than 2016, and so many of us were wondering, is 2016 an anomaly? Is Derek Carr ever going to be that quarterback again? Like so many different things that have changed going back to that 2016 season, and wondering if we were going to get back there and what players would contribute. Well, this is pretty cool, man. So it's exciting. We got a lot of good stuff going, favorable in momentum for the Raiders. I got a couple things for you here that I want to ask you about, and then I want to get into pick your quarterback brain about Derek Carr. But to start off with, one of the games that won for us, one of the things that won for us in Cleveland was the running game. When you got, you know, inclement weather, cold, on the road, what do you want to do? Play defense and run the football, right?
Absolutely.
And so we had a great day out of Josh Jacobs, broke 100 yards on the season. And guys, did you know out of the top 10 rushers in the league, you want to take a shot at where Josh Jacobs is?
Fourth.
He's seventh. Right? And considering the names ahead of him are Kareem Hunt, Ronald Jones, Todd Gurley, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Dalvin Cook, and then, of course, Derrick Henry, King Henry there at the top. But Josh Jacobs, like, I was surprised. I was like, whoa, he's seventh in the league in rushing. That's pretty amazing.
It's a quiet good season so far.
Right? Man. It sure is, man.
I think, too, Trent Brown is one of our most important players. When he's in there, man, he blows open. You run behind him, he blows open. He just moves people.
And we haven't had him.
Exactly.
Or we've had all 5 of our starters for like what 3 snaps?
Yeah.
Like seriously, like it wasn't long that we had all 5 of our starters. So hopefully we'll get them back soon. Before we get into the quarterback, I want to hit you guys with one more. So scoring leaders in the NFL are typically what position? Kickers, right? Because, they are like every game they're scoring points, right?
Yeah.
So typically they're all right. So there's one player in the top 10 that's not a kicker, and that's Dalvin Cook is the second highest leading scorer in the league with 72 points because he's got 11 touchdowns already on the league,
Holy smokes.
which is insane. So the rest of these guys are kickers. All right. Now one of ours, not DC4, but DC2
That's right.
is on the list. You guys want to take a shot at Mike? You want to guess where he's at on the list?
6th.
Close, man. Good. It's 7.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So
Both
Daniel
on
Carlson
7.
is 7th with 67 points in the league. So pretty cool there that we got.
He's been good.
He's been great.
Yeah.
So we got our running back is in the top 10 in rushing, our field goal kickers in the top 10 in scoring, and guess what? Our quarterback
Sure
is in the top 10 in rating. Now, we talked about this last week, and even though he had a, quote, down week against the Browns because of all that weather we talked about, he's still 4th.
Yeah.
Derek Carr is 4th, only behind Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers. Like, you talk about the elite.
That's good company.
Good company, right? So you're talking about the elite of the elite. So I want to ask you this, and then we'll get into some stuff specifically about the Browns game. But before we do that, we've seen a change in Derek Carr. We've seen it. You could see it in his overall attitude, his aggression is just like there's a different character going on, a character shift going on with him. What do you attribute that to? Because all the things that we were critical of him, can't win in Arrowhead, can't win in cold weather, all these things, isn't willing to take off and run, isn't like he's answering all these questions one after the other. What did anything change, or did everything around him change?
I think it's a combination of both. I think the biggest thing is continuity, because whether you want to, I don't really think it's an excuse, but like in his first half of his tenure with the Raiders, the guy had like a different OC or a different head coach. Like people don't really understand what that means. Like imagine learning a new language every season, because that's essentially what learning a new offense is. It's different terminology. It's different schemes. So the fact that he's now been with Gruden for a few years now, you can just tell he feels more comfortable. And I can tell, like, before the snap, like, the biggest thing, especially quarterbacks in the NFL, is your pre-snap recognition. If you can tell what the defense is in, you can either A, keep the play that you called in the huddle, or B, change it to a play that beats that defense. And that's really, it's like a chess match. And that's what I see the most out of Derek Carr. He's recognizing what the defense is in and getting into better plays. Now, it doesn't always mean those plays are going to work, because you got your tackle might get beat, or your receiver slips, or so many other factors. But it's getting out. Most of the time, it's getting out of a bad play against a good defense, and then getting into a good play against that defense. Okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So he's making more of the right calls. Do you sense?
Yeah, I think Gruden over this year especially, he's given them almost like, here you go. Like this, you're in control. You know the offense. You know what you're doing, and it does help now that he's got the tools around him. Because once their O-line finally gets healthy, like they're one of the top 5 O-lines in the league. Like without a doubt.
Yeah.
But they haven't been all.
We haven't had everybody together this year.
Yeah, exactly. And then now you got Ruggs who stretches the field vertical, and then you have Renfro and Waller and Jacobs that are sideline to sideline guys. So now, like, you can't just sit in an 8-man box with everybody at the line of scrimmage and say, I dare you to throw deep, because you have, and Aguilar's been a huge pickup this year.
Huge, right?
Like So you have, and that guy's a speed. I didn't realize how fast that guy was, because I never watched Philly, but that guy's a burner. Ruggs is a burner. So now it's like you have to cover deep. It opens up the run game. It opens up all the shallow game. So I think it's a combination of continuity and the tools that are around him.
So do you think that those changes then are the external changes in, like, is that, do you sense a different mentality in him? Like, or is it just strictly familiarity? And also in follow up to that, like, speak on that, because I think you have a unique insight of that. Like, how hard is it to learn a playbook? Like,
it's extremely hard.
Okay, I'm
basing this off of college playbooks. Like, NFL playbooks are twice as hard as college playbooks. So if you're having to learn a completely new system, new language every single year, like, It's
like, did you have to like study it like at night, like you're just constantly in the playbook? Because you hear those terms get floated around a lot, like, oh, you got to be in your playbook. You got to be like, what does that mean? Does that mean like you're literally with your pages?
It's pages. It's watching video to supplement the pages. I mean, it's an ordeal to learn, and especially Gruden's.
That's what I was saying. Gruden's playbook is thick.
It's his terminology is some of the most advanced terminology by any coach in the NFL. So it takes a little while, and then having the pieces around him, And I think the other thing too is when Gruden first got there, like they knew they were going to. I think they knew they were going to Vegas, or they were moving anyways, right?
Oh,
so like what they wanted to do was be competitive to take care of the fans in Oakland, but they wanted to hit the ground running when they got to Vegas. Like that's what they wanted to do. They did not want to have a brand new stadium and
turn in a freaking 4-12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's part of the business side of it, but it's incredibly hard to learn new offenses every year and be good at it because he's got to learn it. But guess what? All the other guys have to learn it too.
Right,
so it's not just about him learning it. It's the other guys recognizing, because there's so many things with receivers, like it's route. You're changing what route you're running in the middle of the coverage. Because you might think they're in one thing because they're sight reads. So it's like if I'm the quarterback and I know they're in cover 3, but they switched to cover 2 last minute and my receiver thinks it's cover 3 and now he runs a curl instead of a skinny post, like it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So it's a lot more complicated, I think, than people think when you're changing offenses every single year.
Yeah, and I think, and is there truth then to like the time that we've seen him, overthrow a player, or we see him like where it looks like, he's just kind of throwing it into the middle of nowhere. He's trusting the play call and that receiver is on the same page for those changes you just mentioned. And he's not necessarily throwing it blind, but he's throwing to a spot, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes a throw looks horrible, and we're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, and it's not always him, but sometimes it is. I'm not going to just stick up for Derek Carr for everything because there's definitely things that he's needed to improve on, which I think he has a lot this year. But it's not always just so cut and dry.
Yeah. Okay.
I think too when he had those injuries. He was a little gun shy for a while. He was.
I
was at that
man.
game when he broke his leg against the Colts.
You were?
Yes. It was like, man, I mean, it was a bad injury,
That was rough, yeah.
So
and whenever you have something to your lower extremities, like, let me tell you, like, people start falling. They might not be near you, but they're falling near your feet. Like
300-pound guys falling around your knees and ankles.
It messes with you, a little bit. It takes time to get over that stuff. And whether he had the time to get over it or not, like, He luckily did, but sometimes for guys that happens, they get fired, they get canned, or they get benched.
I like that. The last couple games I saw him, he was scrambling. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of times he would fall down. Like extend the play a little bit.
Well, and he definitely did, and I'm glad you brought that up because we look at his stats here. This is and this is where
That's
like
great.
I think the mentality of Derek Carr is starting to shift a little bit. Derek Carr had 41 rushing yards. Let's see. Derek Carr's 41 rushing yards were the 4th most in his career for the Raiders. The only times he had more were against the Texans in 2014, the Cowboys in 2017, and the Packers in 2015. And then his 94 yards so far on the season are the 2nd most in his career, trailing only the 138 he had in 2015 for the Raiders. So
that makes sense.
He's not afraid. And that one play where he took off and ran for it and converted that first down, and he's getting up and he's going, "Let's go!" And he's doing his Derek, like I call it the bear thing, where he's like that thing he does. Like that got me fired up, man. I'm
Absolutely.
like, yes.
And it gets everyone else fired up too. That's on the team, and he can do that. He's more athletic than I think he gives himself credit for.
I think so too.
I just think that he's been so used to, especially at Fresno, like they threw about 50 times a game. Like that guy wasn't running, but that's part of the evolution.
Game right now. Yeah.
Sometimes the defense is in the right coverage, and they're going to cover your guys, and you got to be able to take off and run. And if you can do that. Now you have a whole nother dimension to your game. You don't got to be running all over the field like Lamar Jackson and these other guys, but if you can just run to
convert that 3rd and 6.
Exactly, and keep these guys honest, like now what are you going to stop? You can't stop everything.
Absolutely, right? Well, and that's interesting too, because when we look at what in this Browns game, the Browns only had 6 drives all game versus the Raiders. Now, that's the fewest in any game in the past 30 seasons of Raider football.
Wow.
The Raiders' time of possession, they had the ball for 37 minutes and 43 seconds and ran 71 plays in that game. And that's because of, like, granted, yes, that's the defense getting off the field on third down.
Yeah.
But that's also Derek Carr extending plays and the offense extending plays and staying on the field. And I think that there's a lot of, look, we've been real quick to be critical of Derek over the past year, I would say, where because, you start getting to year 6 and year 7 and you're like, all right, man, like, where's the W's?
Yeah.
Like, the stats are great, but where's the numbers in the left column? When can they be more than the numbers in the right column? And now they are. 4 is better than 3, and we got a favorable. Well, we're still an NFL schedule, but it looks a lot nicer considering what the teams that we're getting ready to go face here on the back half of the season. So really good game there against Cleveland. That's kind of one of those games where it's like, all right, we know they're not the Browns aren't the greatest team in the world, and we know that it was inclement weather. We know, but it's still on the road. Yeah. It's still against certainly a team that's has a capability to be explosive.
Huge for the wild card, man. And this year there's an extra wild card team this year. People forget that there's 3 wild card teams. 7 teams get in this year, so that was huge.
Absolutely huge, absolutely. And those AFC games are huge. It's like you don't want to lose any of them, of course. But if you're gonna lose, lose to the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
it's at a conference. It doesn't freaking matter. Win our division games, and then hopefully win our conference games, and then that will keep us in. That's a great call out there too. All right, let's go ahead and hit a break here, and then we'll get into a little bit of the Chargers game.
Hey Raider Nation, this is Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders.
And goes down, and Max Crosby, who forced a fumble last week.
You're listening to Murph, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you so much. Just win, baby.
All right, Raider Nation, appreciate you joining us here in Murph's Fan Cave. If you haven't hit the button yet in the chat room, hit the button, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. And for those of you that listen to us on the audio version of the podcast, you can please do that as well. Subscribe to us anywhere you find a podcast. Just search Murph's Fan Cave. That is MURFS Fan Cave. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Chargers game coming up. So this is cool. We got a really favorable history against this team. Now I know that the dice have no memory, but I'm a big fan of history informing the future, right?
Yeah.
At least in terms of trends and things, and it's trending very well for the Raiders. The Raiders and Chargers have met 121 times total, and the Raiders have won 65 of those games. The only one postseason matchup was in January 11, 1981, and the Raiders won that game. The longest winning streak, Chargers won 13 games against us from 03 to 09.
Wow.
Remember that? That was Phillips' heyday, Antonio Gates, like LT. How much do you guys hate LT? Like,
oh my God,
he's so good, man, so good. And don't forget his blocker, Lorenzo Neal. I met him at a Raider game too.
Oh yeah,
he does a lot of radio in the Bay, and he's a really nice guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Another guy with a thick neck, man. You see these guys.
All
you got
the fullbacks got thick necks.
Oh, linebacker. Oh, you don't mess with those dudes.
Absolutely.
You don't want to piss them off.
But yeah, so those Chargers, man, they were a lot to deal with back in the day. But the Raiders won 10 against the Chargers from 72 to 77. Current win streak, though, this is all that counts, man. We beat them twice in a row. We swept them last year, and we all know that LA is another home game for the Raiders, man.
Yeah.
We know that what we're going to do when we get down there. And then, of course, anytime, here you go, Raider Nation, and you know this already. If you're enough of a Raider fan to listen to this show, you already know this. But anytime your friends that are Chargers fans or anybody you encounter on social media or anything else, the only thing you got to know is 3-0. And that's the amount of Super Bowls that we have won, and that's the amount that they have won. And we've given them how long of a head start, and they still haven't even caught up to us, right? So it's all about the Raiders when it comes to the postseason. In terms of AFC West championships, the Raiders have won more. They've won 12. The Chargers have only won 10. Wild card berths, and then, of course, Super Bowl appearances. We beat them. So, all right, so, Mike, let's go to you first.
Sure.
The Chargers are vulnerable. They got a lot of potential. I think they got a lot. They're going to get better over time. They've lost close games. Justin Herbert looks like to be the real deal, but they got a lot of vulnerabilities. What do you think? I mean, I know you're a Raider fan. You think they're going to win, but tell me what you think the Raiders can do this week.
I feel like we got the Chargers number. I feel like we always play pretty well against them, except like you said when those that we lost the 13 in a row or whatever. But yeah, you got to win these games. I see the Chargers and the Denver on the schedule. You got to sweep those. But I could see us. I hope we don't drop a game to one of those teams.
Division games.
You got to win the division games.
You never know with those games. They can go
like the Kansas City game a few weeks ago. I mean, who would have thought that? That
Nobody.
I was on a cloud 9 for like 3 days. I was walking around the deli, my chest puffed out. I mean, that was awesome. I haven't gotten that excited in a long time.
Big win.
Absolutely.
And the Warriors sucked this year, so there was nothing really to get excited about for like a year. And we were at my uncle's house. We were high-fiving, and we were just fired up, man.
That was a great game. That bought so much goodwill, I think, for Raider Nation, for not only Carr, but for winning a game like that.
And then you picked Mahomes off to win the game. I was fired up, man.
It was beautiful, man. That was such a great game. And and I think that was a career definer. We said it going into that game, like this game is going to decide careers because if the Raiders would have ended up with a losing record, I believe at the time, and it would have been the whole other thing like, oh, Derek Carr can't win in Kansas City, and
that was big for him.
Huge for him. What if he'd have went in there and thrown 2 pick sixes or something like that?
People the stigma, he don't play well in cold weather and all that. Like he went to Arrowhead and punked them, man.
Absolutely. And then now here we go, beats Cleveland, and so so you take that criticism off the list, right? We know that he can do that. We know now we can win on the East time zone, which was a big one for us too, which we had trouble.
Remember that? Yeah.
Remember forever we could not win on the Eastern Seaboard. Well, now we beat Carolina.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now we can win on those in that time zone. So it's like there's so many things that are getting answered this season. Now, that said, and great point, you got to beat the Chargers twice. You got to beat the Broncos twice. That puts us at 8 wins, and then we only got to find a couple more in there.
Exactly.
And we're a playoff team. Do you think, Jeff, like how big is this game against I mean, they're all big because it's the NFL, but you got an up-and-coming kind of Charger team here, right?
They are up-and-coming, and they got some good pieces, but we have to win. We have to win this game. I mean, because it's one of those games where you're like, this is a should-win game. We should win this one, but you don't want to show up not ready or overlook this to the next week, and then you let one go. So they just got to come out and do it. Do what they've been doing the last 2 weeks. I mean, just keep it going.
What do you do as a guy that once upon a time was a young quarterback in a new program? What do you do to shake up Justin Herbert? Put pressure on him?
Period? You have to. I mean, you got to put pressure on him. That's been kind of one of our areas that we need to improve on, and that's what a lot of guys don't like Paul Guenther. But when he was good in Cincinnati, that front four got pressure. When you can get pressure up with your front four, your defense is going to be good, and we can't do that. So, we have to get pressure. And like we were talking in the Deli 2 weeks ago, send the house. Young guy, put pressure right up the middle, right in his face so he can't step up in the pocket, he can't see. And that's especially with young guys, and they want to run around. And he's somewhat athletic, but he's not be able to run.
He's more of a pocket guy,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So put pressure right up the middle on him. Send double A gap blitzes, and let him see if he can figure out what the coverage is behind it.
Love it, man. And how cool is it to see that the Raiders? Gruden said coming out of the what was the game the Buccaneers game. He was like, we're going to make some changes on defense. It's going to happen. Some people speculated it was getting rid of Guenther. Right? I mean, brought a lot of extra. They did exactly what you said they needed to do. All of a sudden, we got Abram coming off the edge.
Exactly.
You got to.
And if Abram doesn't jump offside, that's a sack. Like he's blowing up Baker in that thing, right?
I love Jonathan Abram. That guy just fires me up.
Isn't he like such a harken to the old school Raiders, man?
He wears the old school jersey with the sleeves,
with the shaggy sleeves and everything.
I love it, man.
He's the best.
The kid's a stud.
Is he your favorite of the new crop of Raiders?
I mean him. I mean, you got Waller, Hunter Renfrow. There's so many.
Max,
I really
Josh
like what
Jacobs,
they've done. Mad Max. Come on, man.
Like you think of all our young.
I need Cleveland Farrell to wake up. He needs to make a play.
You know what? I love the fact that he's such a run stopper, but that's not why we drafted him at number 4 overall. We drafted him to get to the freaking quarterback.
It's not, but he's got to figure that out.
He's got to figure that
out.
Like
a fumble or something. He needs to strip sack or something.
Yeah, and I think too. Sometimes, not all the times, but him and they switch it up. They double him and then they double Max on. It seems to be on passing downs. From what I see, yeah. So, when you're getting doubled,
that's where we need Hankins or somebody like that.
If you're a DN and you're getting doubled, that means at least two other guys are one-on-one. And those guys got to win.
Mo Hurst needs to win the one-on-one. Exactly. One of those guys has to get it. Or you send Morrow or Littleton or somebody else to blitz that.
I'm all about sending the fast guys on blitzes. Like linebackers are great. But we don't really have any speedster linebackers.
Littleton's probably it,
but he's always
not
in
even
coverage.
Crazy fast. Yeah,
it's like send Abram. That guy's a wild card, dude. Send that guy.
He's a ball hawk.
Send a corner, on the short side of the field or something. Like Send those guys because those guys they're going to get to the quarterback faster. And most of the times you don't see those guys.
Right. And they're sure tacklers. Like we know that.
Exactly.
Like our secondary guys are good tacklers. And even speaking of that, and to go back to last week, even though we're talking about the Chargers game here, to go back to last week, how beautiful was Joyner's hit on freaking Landry in the end zone, man.
Where has he been, man? I remember seeing him on Hard Knocks a couple years ago. He was like the best slot corner. And he was a baller, but yeah, he needs to do that.
Well, they had him as a safety in Los Angeles for the Rams.
Yeah.
And they said, well, he's such a great slot corner. We're just going to make him exclusively a slot corner. But there's a lot to be said to have him playing off the ball, man, right? Have him play deep in the backfield because dude's making plays back there. I like awesome. The Joyner-Abram safety team, right?
I do too. I love both those guys back there. Maybe that's where he feels more comfortable. It's all about putting guys in where they're comfortable.
Put them in the best position they can to be successful. Exactly. Absolutely. Don't try to force them into a box. Let them do what they do well. We'll find somebody else to cover the slot, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, so good stuff there. You guys got any final thoughts about the Chargers game? We don't typically do predictions, but give me just like an overall thought, Mike, on the game coming up.
Are we at home or on the road?
Well, we're in Los Angeles, so we're at home.
So we're at home.
Here's another thing too. I've noticed in some of these games when the stadiums are completely empty. I saw a stat actually. Games that were in stadiums with fans. Like the record. I don't know. It's so this season's so hard to predict. I say the Raiders beat them 31-17.
I'm with that. I think you know what. And I frankly. I don't think that Derek Carr's some like fragile little being or something. I'm not speaking in those terms, but I think that considering you guys have been to games in Oakland, you've seen it when Derek struggles, what Oakland fan does.
Yeah.
It gets ugly real quick.
Yeah.
Language that I won't use on this show,
yeah.
Right? I think that when you look at the times that he has struggled, or just the team, I won't pin it all on him, that no fans in the stands, I think it does him a lot of good. Because
maybe.
Think about that.
Like Carr, I think it does.
That's what I'm saying. Like, think about that Saints game.
Yeah.
Like, it could have got ugly on him real quick early on.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
One thing I really liked about the team this year is it's happened twice now. We get down. In the years past, KC, we're down. It's over, right?
It's over.
They come back. They have an ability to come back, and
they keep fighting.
If we can just get
and I think that's a character thing, and I think that's just been built off the last couple good drafts we had.
Build a culture too, right?
High character guys. I mean, look at all. I mean, he obviously loves Clemson, which those guys.
Clemson, Alabama, man.
Yeah, they know
those guys are prime time.
They know how to win, but they also they know how to do things the right way. And I think that's you see that in situations where we do get down. It's like, no, we're not out of this. Like, we just got to pick it up. Let's keep going.
This is great. So this is great stuff, and we're going to get into Sea of Fans here in just a second. But since you brought that up, I want to ask you about that. Talk to me about the importance of, so in Alabama, you got Nick Saban, right? Former pro coach, and obviously probably the greatest college coach ever, right? How important is that? Or you could even say, of course, Dabo hasn't, coached in the NFL, but he's right behind Nick, at least in terms of recent history for greatest coaches. Talk to me about that, the importance of that coaching to set you up for success when you do go to the next level. How much of that is actually going on at the college level before they even draft these guys? Because you're right, they become Raiders, and these guys are immediate contributors, they're immediate leaders, they're immediate, like they get it. Like there's no acclimation period for them to become pros.
Yeah.
Right? They kind of hit the ground running.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I think it's just, in my opinion, in anything you do in life, there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And especially when it comes to football, these guys are showing these guys, this is how you're going to do it or you won't be here. So all of those guys know at Clemson and Alabama and these top programs is the model of success. And a lot of coaches like Dabo's taken a lot of stuff from Saban, over the years. You know what I'm saying? So there's obviously a recipe to the good cooking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like that's just my opinion, especially when it comes to football. You do things the right way, it's going to set you up for the next phase. And these guys don't know anything else. And I'm not saying that guys from other colleges aren't successful, but if you have a higher probability of those guys, in my opinion, working out in the long run than taking a shot at a guy from SMU or you know what I mean?
Or even if and I think to your point too, say, and I'm not picking on this school or that player, but if you're Randy Moss at Marshall,
yeah,
you're clearly the best player on that team.
Exactly.
There is no threat to your job.
Yeah.
But when you're Josh Jacobs at Alabama, right, or you're Henry Ruggs at Alabama, you got how many other great players that are ahead of you, behind you? Like, there are other guys on that team, so it forces you to be great. Yeah. Because if you're not great,
somebody's taking your spot.
CeeDee Lamb will be.
Exactly.
Not CeeDee Lamb, but who's Jerry Jeudy. You know what I mean? Like, yes, absolutely. So that's good insight there. All right, so great stuff. Appreciate you, Raider Nation. Appreciate the chat room in there. Appreciate you joining us for episode 183 of Raiders Fan Radio. Let's go ahead and jump in to the Sea of Fans mailbag. If I can find the button here. This is where Mosh would play this at me.
Hit the button.
Just press the damn button, nerd.
All right.
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied, he throws. It is.
All right, appreciate you jumping in here. Chat room, Coach Davis, Ron the Raider, Raider Critique, Raider Joker, Raider Flash, Kill Jadas is in there. Kevin the Raider Nerd. What's up, Kevin the Raider Nerd? Aaron the Q-Dog Raider is in there. Appreciate all of you joining us. John Torres for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. All right, so less of us and more than you is a good thing, and so we're going to jump into the Sea of Fans mailbag and hear from you, Raider Nation. So you could contact us one of two ways. The first way is to email us. That is at show, SHOW, at RaidersFanRadio.com. And if you leave an email an indefinite amount of times, we will refer to you as a made man or a made woman. Or you can also call the show. That is at 909-345-3346. And leave us a message. And if we play your message 3 times on the show, you become a made man or a made woman. So we got 2 emails tonight. One of you guys want to read one of these? You want to take a shot at the emails?
I'll read one.
Okay, there you go. That's one of your buddies there from their fellow Californian there.
One of the Mangus.
The Manguses, yeah. Well, according to Uncle Mosh, one guy. One guy, 2 names.
I don't know. I've seen some pictures. There's 2 of them, I think.
Photoshop.
Right. All right. Ready to go?
Yeah, man, go for it.
All right. Dear RFR, 4-3 feels amazing. Great win by the Raiders before I get into the game. Prayers up for Trent Brown. Scary situation. Happy to hear he's out of the hospital. It could have been much worse. Now on to the game. PG called a good game. 6 points, 0 TD, enough said. The offense was productive. DC did well handling the elements, and Renfro is a beast. Henry Ruggs was also robbed from his 2nd TD of the season. But that's okay. He'll get it against the Chokers. Speaking of the Chokers, they are up next. This is it, Raider Nation. Our next 3 games are against the division, and if we want to be taken seriously in the division, we have to take care of business. KC, we're coming for your ass. Peace out, Raider Nation. Daniel Mangus.
All right, Daniel Mangus from Fremont, California. So he's one of the 2 made twins that we have here in Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate you, Daniel. All right, next up, our guy. So this guy, Mike, is he's from Shropshire, England.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Englishman.
An Englishman, that's right. And it is west of Birmingham, England.
Okay.
So because it's west of Birmingham, which in our country, west of Birmingham is Mississippi. So he is Paul from Shropshire, Mississippi.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. And he's the king of the emailers around here.
Good.
Evening, everybody. Hope you all are well. Another week goes by and another RFR Live to keep us sane. I don't think there's been much happening in the States over the last few days, so it's good to have some football talk. Yeah, nothing's going on around here other than us watching who gets, what do we got? Who's Nevada and Arizona are in play. What a great win we picked up last Sunday. Life is easier to deal with when the Raiders pick up a W. It wasn't the prettiest game, but it was a solid and hard fought, and a win is a win. We saw some exceptional performances, but I have to make a special mention for our QB. DC was awesome. We knew he had it in him, and finally we're seeing the DC we know and love. This was a real clutch win. In spite of the horrendous weather and corrupt officials, we needed our leader to see us home, and DC was the man. I never thought I'd see rushing stats of 6 for 41 from him, which included an 18-yarder as well. One word of caution, though, fella. Slide at the end of our run. Don't keep going head first. That's an accident waiting to happen. I guess the conversation from some will be, why hasn't he been doing it like this before? But he is right this minute. and I don't care about that. So we're competing, moving in the right direction, and we're seeing the QB we wanted to see. We can trust him again, and it long may continue. Now that we've navigated the early season schedule from hell to the things are becoming real. The upcoming games are all there for the taking, including 3 divisional matchups. Absolutely. The Chargers and the Donkeys won't threaten us, and Kermit and the Muppets of Missouri come to Vegas.
The Muppets. I love that word.
They don't bother me either with their plastic kingdom and fat of the week reigning champion. The Falcons. The guy that put the F in KFC. The Falcons and Jets are next in line, and they're so bad they should be moved to the NFC least. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's how bad is that when you could win the NFC East with 3 games?
What a joke.
Oh, my gosh. Then we have the guy I hate most in the NFL. Philip, honey, shall we build an extension so we can have another Litter Rivers? All the way from his Indianapolis child farm. Not going to happen, Rivers. Save your airfare and your energy for something you're good at. So there you have it. I see 9-4 at least after those games, and maybe even 10-3. Us too, Paul. The only thing that can stop us is ourselves and maybe a corrupt official or two. I stand to be corrected on. Speaking of that, Henry Ruggs scored a freaking touchdown.
That was a touchdown.
I saw
man.
green. I saw green between the toe and the white. That's all I know.
Come on, man.
That was a
the
touchdown.
NFL's hated the Raiders since they came in, man.
It's unbelievable. I know we got favorable calls later in that game, but it's unreal. Even in the games that we're getting favorable calls, we're still getting jobbed.
It's terrible.
It's crazy.
Don't we have a lot less penalties this year, though? Have you noticed? We haven't had a lot of
Well, we
penalties.
do, especially the first, 3 games?
Yeah.
We were we're the lowest in the league, and then we had 5 or something against the Patriots.
Remember, we used to have 12 to 15 a game.
Absolutely,
That's another you think we've improved
Absolutely.
on, I think. Those are killers, man.
God.
Those are killers.
Yeah, they are. All right, let's see. I stand to be correct in all the above. I could be shot down in flames as early as Sunday. It is the Raiders after all, but my confidence is getting close to preseason levels, and I see playoffs on the horizon. I think so too.
Yeah.
I think anything short of the playoffs is a failure for us.
Absolutely. At this point,
at 4-3, considering the gauntlet we just ran through.
Yeah.
I think
and looking at who we got ahead.
I saw the other day, supposedly we have the easiest schedule the rest of the way, based on the records. When's the last time that's happened? They always job us on the schedule.
I know, right? Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, good call, man. So I think we're looking good, Paul. And that's not fandom talking. I think that's objectively we can look at it and say, look, this is looking pretty good for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Let's see. But Paul goes on to say he's Raider drunk, though, and he doesn't care. I apologize to everyone in advance if I've jinxed it. More ways than one, hopefully, as we enjoy our time here in the fan cave. I apologize to everyone in advance if I've jinxed anything and we tank for the next month. I'm going to lie down and calm myself before our trip to L.A. Incidentally, we've officially and unofficially named our stadium in Vegas, but what's the name for our stadium in Los Angeles?
A crappy airline, right?
Oh, my gosh.
Allegiant? It's like, what's better, Allegiant or Spirit? You ever flown Spirit Airlines?
No, I never flown Spirit.
Oh, God. It's a joke.
Is it?
Yeah, it's terrible. I got stuck there one time. It was such a hassle. We ended up driving all the way back from Vegas, 12 hours. Rented a car. We had to argue with them for 2 hours just to get our money back. Yeah. Stick with Southwest.
I know the Southwest flight from Nashville to Vegas is nice, man.
It is nice.
4 hours, man. You're up and down.
Absolutely.
5 minutes from the freaking casinos, man. It's perfect.
I'm getting excited right now, man.
Me too. I'm ready to go back, man.
Right?
I'm ready to go back. All right, if we go finally this week at the time of writing, we've done nothing before the trade deadline, which is a little disappointing. I was hoping for an edge rusher or a linebacker. A best wishes shout out to Trent Brown. And let me pause there too. And Daniel said it earlier as well in the last email. I was taking shots at Trent Brown right away when I heard that he wasn't going to be available.
What happened exactly? I kind of missed that.
I heard that, and I don't know. I think it's a little bit of speculation still, or at least not confirmed story. But he was getting an IV pregame, and air got into his bloodstream.
Yeah,
Whoa,
which is incredibly dangerous.
Incredibly, right? And so major prayers up, and thankfully.
Remember what happened to Tyrod Taylor earlier this year? He got his lung puncture. What's up?
His lung puncture.
What's up with these guys, man?
I'm telling you.
Come on.
Yeah.
Quick side note story. So I broke ribs at MTSU, and they had to give me cortisone shots in my ribs.
Yeah.
And before they have to tell you, they say I could miss and puncture your lungs. I by law have to tell you that.
Oh my gosh! No way.
That's a legitimate thing. because there's not much there. There's not a lot of meat. There's not what they're trying to
How
shoot.
deep do they go in?
I mean, not very deep because you just got cartilage in between your ribs. So, but if they go too far or they miss or something, and that's a legitimate thing.
Did you know about that before they told you?
No, I had no idea.
So you're going like,
I was at the orthopedic, and he goes, I just got to tell you this. Like, I could miss and puncture your lung, and then, we'll handle it from there. But I said, Doc, have you ever missed before? He goes, not yet. I said, all right, well, I'll take it.
It's almost like Pulp Fiction when he shoves the needle.
Yeah.
That's dangerous, man.
My favorite part of that scene was when he goes, you just take it and you go like this. And he goes, you mean I got to hit her 3 times? And he goes, no, just once, but you got to drive it down in there.
Very intense.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, man. Dude, how painful is that when you get your ribs busted up like that?
It's one of the most painful things I've ever experienced. Because every move you make, every breath you take, it expands and contracts your ribs. So there's not like... There's nothing you can do other than get a shot in your butt. It numbs it for about 3 hours, and then you go to sleep. You wake up the next morning, and it's like 20 times worse. But it's just got to heal on. It's got to heal on its own.
It takes a while to heal.
Did somebody fall on you, or was it a hit?
Yeah, I got hit, and like a 300-pound lineman was like on top of me. So it just compressed my whole body like so much that it just cracked the cartilage and cracked part of the rib. And it's, like I said, there's not much you can really do.
Oh my gosh, man! That's why we all love sports, but not all of us are cut out to be quarterbacks.
And it just heals on its own.
There's nothing.
You can't
you do. Ice it a little bit in the beginning to reduce swelling, and then it's just got to heal on its own.
Damn. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But so anyways, go back to it. Much respect to Trent Brown. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. I was taking a shot at you because you weren't available. I didn't know that it was not your fault and not something serious like that. I know, what a jerk. But I was far from the only I can't tell you the amount of deleted tweets and sorry tweets that went out to Trent Brown. But like we were a little,
I was with you. I was just like, can this guy get on the field?
I'm like,
or
what the heck, man? Like he was supposed to be there.
He got COVID the week before and almost screwed everything up.
Well,
right?
that's where that's what kind of started that whole thing. And then all of a sudden he wasn't out. He was out again.
Luckily, it wasn't an outbreak.
I thought we were going to be like the replacements. Our whole starting old line was out. I thought we were going to have to get the old guys that are like off the side, off the streets working at the Safeway or Kroger.
They'd be calling you, calling you Mike and going like, "Hey, what was your brother's number again?"
You can find him at Domenico's, Tennessee, man. Here's the number.
All right, so let's see. All right, best out to Trent Brown. All right, and hey, look at here you go, and QB Jeff and Ty to Raider. Ta-da, Raider. Can you please refrain from talking about the gorgeous food at Domenico's? Tyda is even sending me photos.
That's great.
It's bad enough I have to come to terms with never seeing a Reuben in real life. Now I have to hear of the Laney special with hot pastrami, bacon, and sourdough bread. You're killing me. I swear if I lived close enough, I'd have a loyalty card. Stay safe, RFR family. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi. Pauly Award winner 2019, Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020, BRT Sizzler scorekeeper, proud made man, and five-time winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler Award.
Paul! 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 Paul!
Paul.
Paul! 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 Claude! Claude! Claude!
Paul.
Paul! 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 Paul!
Paul, your name Paul?
Hello? Paul.
Hello?
Paul.
I met him with Paul. Who? Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul!
Hi. I'm Paul.
Thank you. All right. So we're doing drink orders here in the fan cave.
I'm a drinker.
Mike's the heck of a bartender, man. I got to tell you, man. Good job, Mike. Thank you for that. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I miss it, man.
I know, right? Absolutely. All right, there we go. Yeah, we're doing a little tailgating here. In the fan cave there. All right, so appreciate all of you joining us tonight. All right, so next up, we're going to get to the voicemails. And so we always kick off our voicemails, which is 909-345-3346. Call the show, please. If you've never called before, so many of you in the chat room, we've never heard your voice. We always read your words, but definitely give us a call sometime, man. 909-345-3346. And if we play your message 3 times on the show, you become a made man. or a made woman. We have a lot of made women out there. We have Michelle Sweat out there. We have Queen Haley in Scotland, and then we even have like made women like my Max, like my boo. She don't say a lot in the chat, but every once in a while she'll pop in there. So appreciate all the made women and each and every one of you that support us here by calling the show. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the voicemails, and we always start it off with a call from the Capo, and he is Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider.
We interrupt this election coverage in order to provide you the following call by Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider. Greetings, Don Murph, Consigliere Mosh, Underboss Sonny, Sergeant Arms, the Sizzler, Big Raider Trucker, Mojo from When the Universe Speaks, Ramon the Mean King, Swag Jeff, Ron the Mater Raider, Nation. You know, the Raiders' offensive line continues to be a patchwork of the walking wounded. I mean, how many games we have to have missed by Richie Incognito or Trent Brown? But enter Denzel Good, who continues to fill in for his teammates admirably. Let's talk about the game that he put in, this past Sunday against those Cleveland Browns. The former 7th-round pick has played 465 snaps during his career and has only allowed just 1 sack. Good has only committed 3 penalties, which is admirable for us. His ability to play both guard and tackle makes him invaluable to Chucky. Pro Football Focus graded him out as a 64.9 as a run blocker last week. Pretty damn good. Despite being the run blocking anchor, Good has proven to be, not just a one-trick pony. In fact, PFF pointed out via Twitter that, he only gave up 1 QB pressure. Now, Gruden, went so far as to credit him as the unsung hero of the game. Good had a 90.8 grade for his run blocking, which also happened to rank 3rd of all NFL guards that played in Week 8. Kudos, my man. Now, on a cold, windswept Sunday, November 1st, upon Lake Erie, Derek Carr continues to exercise his past demons. Now, the Raiders are 4-3, but, it should not go without noticing. And getting back to Good for a second, they gave Josh Jacobs 31 carries, and he turned that into 128 yards and converted 5 of 6 third downs. And I wish we would have converted one of those third downs against the Bucs, but I digress. Tuesday was election day, and we saw the trade deadline come and go, and we did nothing. Now, keep in mind, we still need to sign a safety some damn where, because you know what? Eric ain't getting it back there. Now, Clayton Matthews, who's an edge, Sam Acho, who's an edge, Cameron Wake, Earl Thomas, Clinton Dix, I keep on banging that one, middle linebacker Wesley Woodyard, Kentrell Bryce, Morgan Burnett, Eric Reed, they're all out there. The hit list will remain the same, and you know what? I'm going to give everybody a pass. But Ice Cube and Mike Ditka, don't get too comfortable. You're still on it. This goes out to the made men. I'm Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, and I approve this message.
Appreciate you, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider. And
he's great.
Were you surprised the Raiders didn't make a move at the trade deadline?
A little bit, but I think it just shows that they like what they got. They trust who they got, and I kind of agree with him. I think who you gonna? You're not going to be able to get anybody for the defensive side of the ball. You'd have to give up too much. So I think I'm okay with it. I think if we can get our O-line back healthy, we're gonna do some real damage.
We got enough pieces to do it. How about you, Mike? Any position that you would have liked to have seen addressed?
Not really. We got to hold on to our draft picks. If we had a major injury, somebody went down, I could see it. But I think too, we have a lot of guys that could step up. Like I was talking about Pharrell, or maybe Abrams starts taking off, or Littleton. He hasn't done too much. They just got to start making some plays. If they can start forcing some turnovers.
That's it, man.
And it starts with the pressure up front. They got to get pressure up front.
F to the E to the R to the R to the E to the L to the L. It ain't furl.
All right. All right. So appreciate Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, man. I appreciate you holding it down for the made men and the made women. All right, let's jump into some more voicemails. Guy we hadn't heard from in a long time. This is, he's got his own YouTube channel and checks in with us every once in a while. This is the Raider Critique.
What's going on, Murph? Uncle Mosh, Swag Jeff. This is the Raider Critique, also known as Raider Gun. And I'm coming at you guys after the humiliating loss that we suffered to the Buccaneers. Now, of course,
okay, so a couple of the first 2 or 3 voicemails were before the game, before the Browns game. So going back a couple of weeks. So
been a little late, and also, not very. I haven't been very good at keeping up with all of y'all. You guys see me in the chat room, you see me talking with y'all and whatnot, but I haven't called in. Figured I might as well go ahead and call in at least once this season to voice my displeasure of the defense and the defensive play calling. Watts Raider is completely right when he says that these coaches are lackluster in the way that they do their play calling. It is very pedestrian. Paul Gunther, especially Forrest Gunther, and the way he calls his plays. He tried to use the same scheme and the way that he ran the defense. It was almost like we were still playing Patrick Mahomes when it was Tom Brady back there. You can't give that guy that much time to throw the ball and expect to be able to beat it. Now, what I don't understand is why we hold on to that fat bastard, because he's never had a good defense, not even in the time when he was in Cincinnati.
Tell us how you really feel, Critique.
Montez Burfict, Pac-Man Jones, Carlos Dunlap, you name him, he had him. And they still couldn't get their defense into a top 10 defense. And we see him doing the same thing with our beloved Raiders as of now. When is John Gruden and Mike Mayock and Mark Davis going to finally cut ties with this guy, let him go, and bring somebody in here who actually knows what they are doing? I understand we want to have a defensive coordinator who runs a hybrid style defense, but Forrest Paul Gunther obviously is not the right choice. Hey, anyway, man, you guys run an excellent show. You run an excellent podcast. I love everything that you guys are doing. Keep it up, guys. This is the Raider Critique, man. I'm out.
All right, appreciate you, Critique. Appreciate you checking in. And, I kind of go back and forth. Like, sometimes I'm all about that, like, let's get rid of him. But then at the same time, I'm like, there's a lot to be said for continuity, though, too. And you can't just run off coaches.
I was just going to say that. I don't think, like, we're in the thick of this. Like, we're in the hunt. Like, what do we get out of completely changing the scheme and everyone on the defense has to learn something new or a version of what they're running now? Like, yeah, has Gunther or our players who are on the field like done a great job? Not necessarily, but I think we got to stick with what we got right now. Like,
it would be foolish to get rid of him right now.
I think so.
If you want to can him, wait till after the season.
Exactly. Like, we have a shot to make the playoffs. Let's keep going and just keep improving and figuring out ways to make things work on defense rather than like, let's just fire him and now we got somebody else trying to
unless you got somebody really good to take his place. And
well, they got Marinelli, but here's the thing: is that
that's true.
It's like we figured out a way to beat Drew Brees. We figured out a way to beat Pat Mahomes. It's not like we haven't figured out ways to be competitive. Even if you look at the Tampa Bay game, like with 11 minutes left, aside from blowing it on 3rd and 13 on a check down, like we're in that game. But let me ask you this, Mike.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to be critical, like as a fan, I'm not telling you how to be a fan. You be a fan however you want. But my mind, if we're going to be critical of making the wrong move, it's not so much in leaving Gunther in power. I think it might be the hiring of Marinelli because when we look at what Coach Buckner did with the defensive line, they were balling out last year.
They were.
And now
He's gone, huh?
He's gone. He went, and I don't remember what team he ended up with, but they brought in Marinelli because Marinelli was the bigger name.
Sure.
Gruden had a history with him.
Yeah.
And you see the influence that it's brought in, like Cowboys players and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like that was probably the misstep, if anything. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, getting rid of Buckner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think, like you said, though, they probably went for that big name. Wasn't he the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys the last couple of years?
That's exactly right, yeah. And he's been a head coach in the league.
Maybe they brought him in as an insurance policy. I don't know.
That's kind of what I thought, too, yeah.
But, sometimes these position coaches, like, they might have a little connection with the certain players. And it's like, okay, so like, remember the Niners? Remember Jim Tomsula? And they made him the head coach, and he, like, farted when he was doing the interview, right? And, like, he was kind of the clown, right? But that guy is an incredible D-line coach. I think he's with another team now, but yeah, I don't know. I felt like Buckner he was a kind of a younger guy. I remember him playing not too long ago.
Yeah,
and,
he was playing for the freaking Panthers.
Sometimes he's a younger coach. Maybe he can. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't like that move.
I think it's a combination of a few things. every player, like you have a good season, you are now on the notice list. Like Max Crosby is coming into the season is now like, okay, we got to know where Max Crosby is at all times, especially on passing downs. Like it's very down by down in the NFL. Like they know what they're calling. Like passing downs, like that guy's getting blocked by the tackle and getting chipped by the running back or a tight end now. So where last year he was on a lot of 1-on-1s. So it's I think it's a combination of he probably did have a good rapport with Buckner, and I thought he did a great job last year.
I thought he was awesome, man. He was great on Hard Knocks too.
Exactly.
You could see his personality. But one of the things too that I think is interesting, and I think doesn't get talked about enough, and you can speak to this, is that. And we've heard this from Pete Koch, and we've heard this from a lot of our guys that have played in the league and have been at high levels of football. Your position coach is way more valuable to you as in terms of direct impact as a player than your head coach, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%. I mean, as far as what you're learning and the scheme, like it all fits together because there's certain techniques you teach if you're playing in a certain defense and like what your roles are, what your responsibilities are. So, I don't think now's the time to get rid of Gunther.
Now's the time not to do it.
I just think that's a bad move. I think it's, let's keep what we got. Let's try and fix the areas that we can improve on. I think the best thing is we're not getting pressure with our front four straight up. Let's bring other guys. Because he was like, I think Gunther, our defense was like the least blitzing defense in the league, or we're in the bottom 3 or something.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And
also the lowest in sacks.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
In the last game, I can't remember who was calling the game. They were like, they have blitzed significantly more than they have all season. It's like, we need to continue to do that.
And I think that's Gruden's hands on. I think that's so. Gruden going, all right,
to do that.
Enough. Let's send
let's go. If you're going to, because you made a great point when we were at the Deli chatting about this. You're like, look, if you're going to get scored on, if you're going to lose, then freaking send the house. Like, what's the difference?
Go down swinging at least.
Go down swinging.
Exactly. Make them beat you.
Yes.
With
absolutely.
pressure in their face.
Absolutely. Good stuff there, guys. All right, next up, let's get to our buddy Dave in the 330. This is just before the Browns game.
What's up, Mosh, Murph, Swaggy J, Raider Nation, the Made Man? It's Dave out here in the 330 Ohio, and it is Saturday, the day before the Raiders game. It is also Halloween, so when I see people walking around in costumes, I don't know if they're trick-or-treating or if they're Raiders fans, but either way, they're going to have a good time. I'm fortunate enough that I'm going to the game tomorrow. I've got a good friend that has season tickets who called me up, who's going to take me out there. So we're going to hang out, have a good time, watch the game. Hopefully we come out victorious. I know they're the Browns, but they're dangerous. They're dangerous like we're dangerous. We can do what we want one day and then crap the bed the next day. I mean, they can put up a bunch of points. They've got a suspect defense, too. So let's see what we can do there. I think we come out victorious, but I need Carr to show me he can do another thing he's never done before, and that's win a game that I attend. Because the Raiders have never won a game when I'm in attendance, and that's kind of sad. Not sad enough that I'm going to stay home and think that's going to make a difference.
Come on, Dave, take one for the team.
Thing, right? But, prove me wrong. Win that game. Prove you can win when I'm in the stands. It worked. It worked for you when you said they can't win in Arrowhead. So let's see them. Let's see them come up here. Last time I watched them up in Cleveland was I can't remember the year, but Charlie Fry was our quarterback. So we had their hand-me-down quarterback. That was great, and it was freezing, and we lost. So tomorrow's going to be cold. It's going to be rainy. Carr has, all joking aside, a chance to prove he can play in cold, crappy weather. So let's go Raiders. Let's get that W against these Browns.
All right. Good stuff there from Dave in the 330. And we hear from Dave in another couple of calls. We hear from him post-game. So pretty cool. Nice. And, yeah, I think all the questions got answered. And glad you got to be there and see your first W there, Dave. That's awesome. I've only seen the Raiders ever lose in person once. Like, whether it's been – well, no, I take that back. In Oakland, I've only seen them lose once. On the road, I've seen them lose in Atlanta twice. I saw Carson Palmer throw one too many pick sixes in Atlanta. But outside of that, because they've always won in Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the most part.
Yeah.
Even going back a ways, back when the Raiders and Titans were both really, really
I know
good.
One thing I'm going to miss for sure about, the Oakland games is after they would win, in the walkout, and everybody's great. And, you got the big Ricky Henderson. You're high-fiving everybody, and man, that was like the best feeling.
Walking in and walking out.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I used to describe it to people as like, it's like walking into Mordor. It's like all the orcs walking in. It's like, because we're just
there are some orcs in there.
You know what I mean? We're just all screaming and chanting, and it's just
it was like it's incredible feeling.
Those are the things that Vegas can't replicate.
No,
they won't be able to do it, and that's the downside.
But
right?
maybe there'll be some new stuff we can't envision yet that
that's
we get.
Hopefully,
and you see a couple opposing jerseys, and you get in there, it was just the best.
Did you guys ever? Now you guys lived like right around the corner, but for guys like me, like we would get so we'd leave San Jose, drive to Fremont, and then take BART in.
Yeah.
So after the game was over, we would walk. Did you guys ever walk across
the little bridge to BART?
The little bridge.
Oh, that thing's rowdy too.
That is rowdy, man.
Rowdy.
Oh man, that's wild, man. Nothing like walking across that thing. You're walking over the trains and all that. It's so industrial and gritty and gnarly, man. I'm gonna miss that.
Another thing I loved about the Raiders is you have older fans, younger fans. If you're a Raider fan, we're all on the same team.
Yes.
And it's just a camaraderie.
It's a great equalizer, man.
Big
Absolutely.
Big time.
Absolutely. Yeah, good stuff there, man. I'm gonna miss that stuff.
Me too.
All right, so let's go next to our buddy Adam Hill and check in what he has. Sorry, Adam, that your best friend Swag Jeff isn't here tonight, but let's check in and hear your voicemail.
What up, Mike, Murph, Mosh, and Swaggy? I was just calling because I needed to talk some football. I had nobody to call while I was driving on my route today. So, I'm just happy to see my Raiders playing with some freaking heart. We out here busting our tails, busting our 9-to-5s and stuff, and then, Sunday come around, and I'm like, yo, we need some effort out there, and we got some effort this last Sunday. We need to continue that stuff. We can't. Jonathan Abram cannot be the only person out there motivating these fools. We need our linebackers to step up and lay some wood. We need a whole bunch of people out there playing because they want to play with some Jonathan Abram passion. Freaking, I don't know if Derek Carr got some of that Jonathan Abram passion, but he was out there playing football. He was scrambling, lowering his shoulder. Actually, he didn't look like he was afraid to get hurt. And I want to see that for the rest of the season, And if he doesn't show it, I always go after the game when I lose, I just stick him Madden 21 and I go out there and show him how it's done. You could come check my channel out, Adam Stacy Hill, all one word, on YouTube. But, great job on the show. Keep it up. I'm glad you guys are consistent. We need Mikey to step his game up. But I know he got his little personal issues. But we love you, Mikey. Shout out to you. Donate to that fool because he need it. All right.
All right, Adam Hill, we appreciate you, man.
Great.
And so I mentioned a couple of times now that if you call the show 3 times to get your message played, you become a made man or a made woman. So Adam Hill is called, I went back and counted, I think 6 times, and I've never called him a made man. So Adam Hill, forgive me, I don't count so good. But yes, thank you for calling and supporting Raiders Fan Radio the way that you do. And as of today, episode number 183, you are now a made man here on Raiders Fan Radio.
You are a made man. You showed you are part of the family by participation. By chance, a man like yourself should make enemies, then they would become my enemies. Showing you are a friend of Raiders Fan Radio, you have leapt across the line. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It is more than the government. It's almost equal to family. Be loyal. Made man, Raider fan. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this as a gift. And don't ever forget, words can hurt more, but silence can break hearts.
Every time I hear that, it cracks me up. When Mosh recorded that, after we were done, I go, what does that mean? He goes, I don't know.
Just kind of came out.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Adam Hill. And he joins the long now list. And every once in a while, we'll update the list. And so here we go. The thing I love about updating the list is that I love hearing from all the different places that people represent the RFR listenership. So it goes like this: Jimmy Zebach, hardcore Raider, who is in Colorado; Johnny in San Diego; Chuck Slatterhead McCann in Jersey; Ron in Alliance, Ohio; Alaska Raider; Dakota Raider; Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, who's in the great state of Texas; Red in Yakima, Washington; Jim from the East Coast; Yayo in Jersey; Big Raider Trucker, who's in LA; Wyoming Raider; Diego in Georgia; Running Bear in Tulare, California; Mojo Raider, who's San Diego; Junior in San Diego; Beto, you know the city, that's LA; James in Arkansas; Monster Mash Ken, who's in Jersey; Raider Rue in Utah; Ev Dog, Houston Raider Steve; Jesse in Kentucky; B Dog, who's in a pasture in Texas; Max in San Diego; Rev Raider, another Jersey guy; Raider One; Eye Patch; Alex in Tucson; Ruben in Vegas; Dave in the 330; Kevin the Raider Nerd, who's in Santa Barbara, I believe; Paul in Shropshire, Mississippi; 24 Karat Kev, the cool ass Raider, that's Scotland; One Nation Jeff; Chucktown Raider; Haley in Scotland; Lino the Full Metal Mexican; Central Valley Raider; RBK Raider; Coach Davis; Raider Ramon, who's now in Vegas.
I love these names.
Isn't it great, man?
Yeah.
Raider Born Rico, who's the Canary Islands. Raider Trucker Dan; Sugar Shane, also Texas; Super Deuce; Daniel Mangus, Fremont, California; Just Win Johnny, Jersey; Matthew Mangus; Pirate 1975; JC Raider; Fabricator Gill on the IE; Big Mike; Tidal Raider, that's the guy that goes to Domenico's all the time in Alameda. Tidal Raider,
okay.
the Big Easy; Kill Jadas, who's in Alaska. Stacy Rough Raider. I forgot to mention Alaska Raider. I don't know if I mentioned him earlier or not. Anyways, Alaska Raider's in there. Stacy Rough Raider, Scotland's David Love, Miguel Ruiz, Raider Jeff and Casey, and now Adam Hill, man. Thank you so much, Raider Nation. Thank you, RFR listeners, man. Y'all rock, man. Thank you for supporting the show the way that you do. And yeah, like as we're sitting here talking, like I just realized we have Alaska Raider, who is a longtime caller of the show. I don't have him on the list. Like, I don't know if I forgot to make him or what, but anyways, Alaska Raider.
I mean, he is all the way up in Alaska. You know?
Well, so it takes longer. It takes longer to get up there.
The last frontier.
Yeah. It takes longer to get up there. Forgive me, Alaska Raider. All right, next up, let's go to our buddy. I mentioned him just a second ago. Beto, you know the city.
Raider Beto, you know the city. Oh, my God, I hate Derek Carr. Why did he win us the game? Why did he throw that ball to Ruggs? It's his fault that Ruggs didn't get that touchdown. Okay? Why did he throw the ball to Renfro? Why did he get the touchdown? God, I hate Derek Carr's decision-making. Why is he running the ball? Why is he getting those first downs? God, Derek Carr is so dumb, I swear. You see, that's my best imitation of these Derek Carr haters. Derek Carr has been balling out, so y'all need to, pardon my French, need to shut the up. Oh. Okay, he's balling out.
Get him, Beto.
He's getting those extra yardage. Granted, today was very suspect when he about to fumble the ball right at the 2-yard line in the red zone. But granted, Devontae Booker came in, so anyway, it doesn't matter. That throw to Ruggs should have been a touchdown. That was a beautiful pass, great catch, but the refs always like to screw over the Raiders, but it doesn't really matter because the Raiders won either way. Defense looked good because Mother Nature was helping the defense today, but I don't know if it can last against any other team with normal weather conditions. There's still no pass rush, which that's my biggest concern, because when the Raiders go up against good quarterbacks that can throw the ball, like the Chargers with Justin Herbert, Drew Lock, him dancing like a jackass. I'm not really scared of him. And then obviously Pat Mahomes, and then the rest of the league with the quarterbacks. Like, there needs to be pressure on the quarterbacks to get off on those third downs. But granted, the Raiders did get off on third downs, which was good. So little by little, I think that's the first time Paul Gunther's defense held the team under 10 points. Can you believe that? I can't believe it either. Anyway, the point is, the running game was great today. It also shows you how pivotal this running game is to the Raiders' victories. The Panthers game, the Saints game, the Chiefs game, and this game, all those games have in common with Josh Jacobs running the ball, or Devontae Booker running the ball, or either running back rushing it for a touchdown. Also, I'm very impressed that Derek Carr's using his legs. But next time, please slide, Derek. We do not want to fumble the ball in the end zone and have another turnover or a touchback. Anyway, as always, go Raiders, 4-3. On to the Chargers. Actually, we're going to have a second home game. We're going to have 9 home games because those Chargers don't belong here at all. Hell no. Out of my city. It's my city, LA all day. 3-2-3. Anyway, go Raiders.
All right, appreciate you, Beto, man. Appreciate the call as always. And man, so I believe he's in the chat there, and the chat is lighting up there, and so great stuff from him there. Appreciate you. All right, we're starting getting a little close on time, so we're gonna hit the accelerator here. I forgot to mention to you two guys. So we pick a Sizzler award, right, for the best call or email every week. I'll have a list for you of all the names. Just kind of keep mental tabs here because we'll have you guys pick the Sizzler award for tonight for the best email or voicemail. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So next up, we're gonna get to our buddy Dave back in the 330 post Browns game.
What's up, Murph, Mosh, Swaggy J? It's Dave again out in Ohio, just calling. The game last night, yesterday, it wasn't a night game. That was awesome. It was so freaking windy out there. I don't know if you could tell on TV. I'm sure they talked about it, but I watched rows of people get blown over in the stands, literally. I was one of them. Luckily, I had a rail in front of me to grab. It was insane, and Carr did it. He proved he can win a game with me in attendance. Now, I came to the conclusion my wife might be bad luck because she was with me at every other game that the Raiders lost at while I was attending, and she was not with me yesterday. So she might be the bad luck charm. I don't know. But that game was awesome. Carr won in the sleet, in the snow, in the rain, in the wind, in the cold. So he checked all those off. There was at one point he ran, I think he scrambled for about 8 yards and went out of bounds instead of getting the first down, and the Browns fans were calling him they were calling him a cat, in other words, and he made them eat those words by freaking taking them head on, not sliding, not going out of bounds, getting first downs, getting yards, and just beating them, dominating them. Run game. I wore the Josh Jacobs jersey for a reason because I knew we were going to need him out there in that weather, and our run game came through. It held up. Our line held up. We outplayed them. It was a crappy game, crappy weather. It was a fun game. It was a fun game to watch. I mean, not a high-scoring game. My buddy, the Browns fan that got me the ticket there, he took the over because both our offenses can score a lot of points. Obviously, he lost on that too yesterday because that over was way under. But yeah, just a great game, and it was so nice to be able to be there in person, even though it was cold. There were quite a few Raiders fans there. I walked around, I talked to quite a few of them, offered them some hand warmers, things like that, and just a great game, a great vibe. The Browns fans were all, civil. Got some compliments on my Jacobs jersey, stuff like that. Everything was good. A little friendly jabs back and forth and all that stuff, but it was just a great time. So, anyway, go Raiders.
All right, good stuff there from Dave in the 330. Cracks me up. I love it how he's talking about going around and handing out hand warmers to people because, like, us people from California, we're like wandering around Cleveland going, holy crap, it's freaking cold. You know what I mean? Because in California in early November, it's what, 72?
Oh, yeah. It was like 80 degrees last week.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's so funny. Like, we have no concept of Cleveland, like,
Oh, we're spoiled in the Bay Area. We have the best weather in the world, and you get like a little drizzle, people can't handle it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like 75 degrees. It's so hot. Come on, man.
The only time I ever remember being cold is that living in San Jose, like if we would leave and like go to a Giants game or an A's game or whatever.
Yes.
You had to bring a hoodie with you because when the sun went down by like the fifth inning, like if you were to go to an A's game, like it would get cold. But other than
a little windy.
And a little windy, right? Especially Candlestick, right? Yeah. But aside from that, like it would never really got like cold, but it was like you'd wear shorts and then just bring a hoodie with you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, but far from Cleveland lake effect weather and all that stuff. You know,
that's crazy, man. 50-mile-an-hour winds.
I know that was nuts, man. That's so good. And like, how about that one kick that like that?
It went Yeah.
And he almost made it, but
did.
that thing freaking hooked hard, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy, man. So kudos to the Raiders, man. That was awesome winning that kind of weather. All right, next up, let's get to our buddy Houston. We call him the historian, Raiders Steve.
Murph, Mosh, Swag Jeff, made men, made women, Raider Nation family, Houston Raiders Steve. Great win by the Raiders yesterday in the cold ice and sleet against the Cleveland Steamers. It's a mistake by the lake. As we all know, sometimes Browns fans on winter vacation, instead of going to Florida, they go to Buffalo. Go figure, huh? Remember the Drew Carey show? They used to sing that song, Cleveland Rocks. So I changed it up a little bit. My rendition is Cleveland sucks, Cleveland sucks, Cleveland sucks, Cleveland sucks. Yes, that's right. It does suck. Anyway, gotta love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Uncle and cousin Brown season ticket holders, they've been very loyal fans, like we have, just like Bill's Mafia. Brian Baldinger called the game here on 97.5 ESPN here in Houston. Raiders games, man. It's like music to my ears. Like the Swallows that go to Capistrano, man, hearing the Raiders on the radio. He said playing that game yesterday, Raiders wearing the black flickers, and then the Browns wearing theirs. And in the cold, rain, slow, snow, and sleet. What a great game, man. Old school. Reminds me of interception by Mike Davis and the
Red
old
Right
San
88
Giuliano teams that, before the that was the cardiac kids. Anyway, Great win. Derek Carr proved again that he can win in cold weather games this time. Future looks bright, gotta wear shades. And all I can say is, happy days are here again. Happy days are here again. We're back, baby. Go Raiders. Now let's go ahead and win against San Diego, or as we call that, LA Chargers. And go Raiders. We're back, baby. Just remember, Raider Nation, first, last, and always. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Did he really drop a Cleveland Steamer blast? That's amazing. That's really good.
Yes,
That
he
was
did.
hilarious.
Oh,
Incredible.
My God. Good job, Houston Raiders.
Raider fans are gross. We're gross. I love
it. Oh my gosh, I know, right? Oh man, too good.
Yeah,
man.
talk about a sizzler right there.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
I miss my fellow Raider fans. I miss going to the tailgate and
Oh
yeah.
man, absolutely nothing like it, man.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it. Absolutely. All right, good stuff there. All right, next up. So I don't advocate for sizzlers, but man, I gotta tell you, this one's good. All right, here we go. Our buddy up there, and he calls himself the northernmost Raider fan. He's up there in the northern part of Alaska. It's Kill Jadas.
On the north side of Ohio is one of the crappiest towns. And you go up there, you will be aware of a team named the Cleveland Browns. Now the Browns were 5-2. Their jerseys the color of poo. All the women call them a disappointment. All the men just yell out, "Pooh!" It's the bad Cleveland Browns. Baddest team for all 4 downs. Badder than old King Kong. Meaner than a junkyard dog. Now the Raiders, they're quite mad. Last week they gave it all they had. Getting cheated out of wind and giving up like they did really stirred up the autumn wind. Not to get ahead of the race, both teams had to pick up the pace. And the Raiders knew that what they had to do, they had to bring their A game against the bad Cleveland Browns. Baddest team for all 4 downs. Badder than old King Kong. Meaner than a junkyard dog. Now winter hit in Cleveland. It was windy, it was rain and snow.
The whole thing.
Mayfield and the Browns were prepared to throw down with the black and silver for all rounds. Well, the two teams got to fighting.
Is he going to go the whole song?
The Raiders hit the thunder and lightning. The Cleveland Browns once again fell down, much to the dismay of their dog pound. Cause it's the bad Cleveland Browns. Baddest team for all 4 downs. Better than old King Kong. Meaner than a poodle dog. Well, it's good the Raiders won this game, but there's one thing that I know. Last week, Kill Jadas got tuck ruled by Murph and the RFR show, and it's the bad RFR show. Drew and Kill Jadas, and you know they know. Should have won that Sizzler. Must have been high and drinking Sizzler. I just played you guys. Much love to y'all. I'll catch you later. See ya.
Oh my gosh! So
was that a freestyle? Did he write that?
Oh, I bet you he wrote it. He does some highly produced stuff, man.
I was going to say, yeah,
that was pretty good, man.
He had 3 verses. He had a hook. He had the whole thing.
He had the whole thing, man. He does the Macho Man Raider Savage, and
what?
Yes, and
really?
it's brilliant. And so last week, so if you go the full 3 minutes, Google Voice claims you, and you can't be eligible for the Sizzler Award. So he was running away from it as a favorite, and then Google Voice got him, so he was ineligible. So that's why he says that we screwed him, but. Hey man, the rules are rules. You know what I mean? Right. Rules are rules. But yes, that was awesome, man. He didn't just go a verse like Houston Raider Steve is amazing because he'll sing, but no one's busted out a full song before.
That was a full song.
And got it underneath the time limit. Like, I don't know how long Bad Leroy Brown is on its I
think it's like 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Like you got right in there, man. Yeah. So I think he timed it out. No, that was great, man. I love how he cracked himself up, man. That always makes me laugh. All right, we got 2 more to get to. Next up, our buddy Sugar Shane.
Murph, Uncle Mosh, Swag Jeff. This is Sugar Shane calling from the great state of Tejas, other known as Texas. Anyways, I just want to say thank you for all the content you provide, and thank you for every step of the way when it comes to this fanhood, guys. You know, we got the win in Cleveland. I think, it came down to coaching. I think it came down to being prepared for this. We were facing someone or a team that has, a rookie coach coming in and trying to make things better, but, just slipped up right there. It was an ugly loss, but a win is a win. Let's remember that, guys, in chat room. A win is a win. And also, last week on the show, I shouldn't have been talking about Trent Brown. I mean, he immediately shut that down in regards to my criticism towards him. Sorry about that. God, that guy, he hits hard, okay? All right? Jeez. I mean, I know he's an offensive lineman, but when he hits you, it feels like you immediately go through a rush of emotion. I mean, that's if he's actually playing. But, anyways, no questions, no answers. Just wanted to give you guys props. I know you guys give us props every week. The CF fans, everything like that. Shout out to Capo in the chat room. Shout out to everybody in there. BRT, Mojo, everybody. Ron the Major. Wow. You have to put up a lot of stuff, man. You have to put up with so much stuff. You might as well be running a daycare. So, shouts out to you. Shouts out to everybody.
Really
once
good.
Again. So, much love, guys. Swag.
Oh my gosh! Oh, we got cut off there.
What happened?
I think that probably should have been a Google Voice there.
Google voiced it?
Oh my gosh, Sugar Shane, I can't let you get away with that, man. Let's see. I got to bring it up now. Hang on. Google. I was sorry. I'm off my game because I was cracking up.
It's my fault. It's my
fault. Tell him what you found, Mike.
Well,
you found a reference?
Yeah. So you really want me to tell you?
No.
Just Google the Cleveland Steamer, and you'll know exactly what we're laughing at.
So a lot of times when you hear us laughing off mic, it's not necessarily what's going on in the call.
Yeah.
It's
I got a buddy at home, and he told us about that like a long time. When I heard that guy say the Cleveland Steamer, I start
oh my
cracking
God,
up.
So funny.
My buddy, he's filthy. He's gross.
All right, so Sugar Shane, this is what should have got you there at the end of your call.
Google Voice has claimed you.
All right, Sugar Shane. Sorry about that, man, but you got to get the call underneath the 3-minute mark. All right, last up, one more to get to before we get out of here for the night, and it is Coach Davis.
What up, Murph, Uncle Mark, Swag Jeff, Capo, Aaron the Q-Dog? You know the rest. It's your four-time Sizzle Award-winning made man, Coach Davis, checking in. What's up to all the made men, made women? You know, Murph, I just wanted to tell you, man, that's a class act. You know, awarding Harley the Sizzler Award a couple weeks ago, man. Said one thing on there that you say you don't know if she's just along with the ride because she have a crazy dad or a crazy Raider fan for a dad. But look, man, let me tell you a little story about Harley, man. You may not know. Of course you don't know. When all this COVID thing started, you know, the kids was out of school, man. And me and her mama came home from work one day, and the house is a wreck, man. Like, she ain't picked up nothing, ain't cleaned up nothing. Man, I walk in, I'm like, man, what'd you do all day? You know you're supposed to be cleaning. I don't care about school being out. You got responsibilities, you know? So, she gets a little feelings hurt like she does sometimes, you know? So I go to talk to my wife, and my little princess, man, she butts in. She goes, well, you know what I was doing all day? I said, well, obviously you wasn't cleaning. She says, well, I was looking on highlights of Chase Young and Isaiah Simmons and C.D. Lamb. I said, well, first of all, you don't want to be looking at Chase Young because we ain't going to get him. We're going to have to give up way too much to move up and get him. Isaiah Simmons probably ain't going to be there, and C.D. Lamb might not be there either. He might, but we ain't going to get both of them. Might want to look at other wide receivers. At this point in time, I feel my wife like burning a hole in the side of my head. So I look at her, I'm like, man, what? So since she was looking at Raider stuff, everything's forgiven? It's like, yeah, baby, what you think? You know, I love y'all, man. Raider Nation, I'm out.
All right, good stuff there from Coach Davis, man. Hey, raise them right, raise them Raiders. That's what we like to say, man.
Absolutely.
That's right. Hey, so speaking of that, so you've, since the last time you were on the show, you've become a dad again.
Yeah, third time dad. I got 3 boys now, and they're all huge Raider fans.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
It should be.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. And
Appreciate it.
also,
Thank you.
And I forgot to mention, too, at the top of the show, it's also your birthday yesterday.
It was my birthday yesterday.
Man, very cool, man. So happy birthday. So wish him a happy birthday out there, Raider Nation. Everybody in the chat. Send Raider Jeff. You're happy, or Raider Jeff, QB Jeff, because there's all kinds of Raider Jeffs.
There's like what 30 Jeff
at
Raider
least.
stuff?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Raider Murphs too, huh?
I know. Well, there's 3 of them here. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So,
thanks, Ron.
There you go. There you go. There comes the happy birthdays. Good deal there. So, all right. So here we go. So every week we award a Sizzler. This is to the best email or voicemail throughout the course of the week. It's Mosh that awards it. In Mosh's absence, it's Swaggo. When Swaggo's not around, QB Jeff, it's all you, man. Who do you got?
Well, I think
It's got to be the Cleveland Steamer, man.
There's like 3. I mean, all of them are great, but there were some really good ones. This one was packed full, but I think we have to go with Houston Raider Steve.
Houston Raider Steve. All right. Congratulations, Houston Raider Steve. You are this week's Sizzler Award.
I haven't heard that term in like 10 years. Oh, my God.
Sizzler.
I knew right away when I heard that. I was like,
Sizzler.
dude.
Sizzler.
Oh, clink.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's terrible. God bless Raiders.
Every
fans.
once in a while, we'll just go off the rails around here, man.
You got to, man. You got to.
Every once in a while, we'll go off the rails.
Raider fans are the best.
Oh my gosh.
Hugh, I appreciate the happy birthday, but I think I'll pass on the Cleveland.
yeah. I think I'll pass on the
hard pass on the Cleveland Steamer.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate the chat room tonight. Appreciate Pirate 1975. Appreciate Swag Jeff in there. Raider Flash, Coach Davis, the big easy kill Jadas is in there. Aaron the Q-Dog Raider. Raider Born Rico. Raider Flash. Appreciate all of you. Running Bears in there tonight. Michelle Sweat's in there. Raider Critique, if I haven't mentioned, I can't scroll up. Tyrone Graves is in there. Thank you so much for all the support that you give us here at Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate you each and every week. And hey, the Murphy boys. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
I had a great time. I got to join this chat now. That's the next logical move.
Absolutely.
So I'll be back in the chat.
Get in the chat every week, and hey, if you want to visit for those Raider fans in the Bay Area. Go visit. No, but go visit Domenico's in Alameda.
1407 Webster Street, Alameda. We've been there since 1982. We're coming up on 40 years pretty soon. Domenico just turned 91. He's healthy as an ox. So, it's a family business. We love it. And come and see us, and we'll talk some Raiders. Just don't talk about the Cleveland Steamer in front of my mom. Thanks, you guys.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you for being here tonight, man. It's
been
a lot of
I had a blast.
A lot of fun. Raider Jeff, man. QB Jeff, man. Thanks for coming in tonight, man.
Thanks for having me again, Murph, and I appreciate the becoming a made man.
Absolutely, dude. And hey, and shout out your Domenico's.
That's right. Domenico's here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 106 South Maple, man. Come see us. Get a good sandwich. Anytime you need it, Monday through Saturday.
Right on, man. Absolutely. And hey, and if you need the salami, it's on Mosh's desk there.
That's right.
That's he's paying his tribute there. So Mosh,
don't be too mad. I was easy on your chair, all right?
I was kind of bummed I didn't get to meet the famous Mosh. Maybe next time.
Next time, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely come back, and you're always welcome here to Fan Cave, man. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Raider Nation. OneNationFoundation.net. Contribute there. All the money will go to Raiders-related charities. Thank you to everybody in the chat room tonight. Thanks, Swag Jeff, and everybody else, and all the support that you give us each and every week. We just can't appreciate you enough. And, man, I think that's all I got, man. Let's get out of here. What do we got this week? Got to beat the Chokers.
Got to beat them.
Let's take them out, man. Let's do it. Get out, YouTubes!
See you later.